Well, exactly 4 weeks from today, the MCG will host the AFL Grand Final. But this afternoon, Port Adelaide are looking to finish their season here for the second consecutive year. But 2008, it's a long way from their successes of last year. In fact, this will be their worst year in the club's 12-year history. And North Melbourne have been the Power's bogey team as well. The Kangaroos have won 14 out of 19 clashes, as well as winning their last 6 games here at the MCG. And with Shannon Grant making his 300th appearance, North Melbourne have it all to play for. And for Port Adelaide, well, it's going to be backs against the wall. But Shannon Grant, what a great player he has been for the Kangaroos, and prior to that for the Sydney Swans as well. Played all 25 games last year, top 10 in the best and fairest. A member of the 1999 Premiership winning team and the Norm Smith medalist from that game. He's finished top 3 in the best and fairest at North Melbourne in 5 occasions, including winning it in 2001. He's been an All-Australian. He's been a great servant. And no doubt his family get to celebrate with him here today, David.
It seems to be the way with all families. And we can go back, John, even further, because he was a highly rated recruit in the early years of the draft. I know everybody was trying to secure his services, and was a very, very competent player early in his career when he finally crossed to the Kangaroos, where people remember him best of all.
Kicked 39 goals last season to be second at the club when he took on a different role after spending his early days as a very damaging midfielder, Tony.
Well, look, I think he's been a sensational player as we look at the North Melbourne lineup now. And look, what he does is he's so hard to match up on it because he's so smart. If you play someone who's a bit taller and a bit slower and doesn't know how to do it at ground level to get you there, and if you play someone the same size, smaller, he can get you in the air because he's such a good mark. But, gee, we look at Hale at full forward. That has really allowed David that McIntosh and Petrie can now rotate in the ruck and then go forward if they want to really test the opposition ruckman.
Super structure, Tony, thinking that Thompson's not even probably going to get back into that side. So he's become an absolute focus. Well, Port Adelaide, and they've lost one overnight. Travis Boak, who's been a very, very good player for them. They'll miss him. Has been replaced by Nathan Lone. He's probably looking for a lifeline at the moment, I think, for the future. So that's a down, really, for Port Adelaide in that sense. I'm fascinated how they're going to use Peter Burgoyne. I think you mentioned it at pre-game, whether he be the man to go with Brent Harvey and play off the half-back flank with the one. I'm not so sure that'll happen. Probably that job will become Kane Corns.
Yeah, Cassisi, I would think Cassisi might go to Daniel Wells, Kane Corns to Brent Harvey because he's the best tagger in the competition.
But it's interesting because it's hard to actually ascertain why they dropped off as badly as they have. And I think the rebound that you talked about, Tony, before is an absolute certainty with Port Adelaide.
Well, it should be a great game. North Melbourne has dominated Port Adelaide, as I mentioned. The last time these two sides met, a 10-point margin at three-quarter time to Port was the biggest lead at any change. It finished in a thriller, and we'll leave you with highlights from that clash back in July and return with the opening bounce from the MCG.
Here's a long kick of the ball, centred towards the goal line, all the way in game 100. Can take it to 45 and go all the way, hands it over the top. McMahon for the finish, perfection. Thompson gets the handball out. Ross thumbs it to full forward. Thompson off hands. Lindsay Thomas, a miracle. Motlop goes long. Gets the point. Never in doubt. It's game on. 56 seconds. He can kick it from there. Short pass. Traore. He's got the season in his hands, the captain, and he misses. North Melbourne remains a contender in 2008.
Welcome back to the MCG. Shannon Grant in his 300th appearance to toss the coin with the acting Port Adelaide captain, Sean Burgoyne, filling in for Warren Treadray, who we understand has been offered a new one-year deal with Port Adelaide. And Shannon Grant, after some confusion, has elected to kick To the left of screen, the punt road end of the MCG, a rare ground in the AFL that runs east-west. We're heading east and down to the boundary line where we find Liam Pickering.
Thanks, John. Yeah, down here at ground level. There's not a lot of wind around actually today, but there are some really worrying signs upstairs here. It looks like it might get a bit of rain this afternoon. We've talked a lot about the surface of this ground, and just walking across it before, it's very, very slippery. They've resurfaced a fair portion of this ground, I should say. But I noticed a lot of the players in the warm-up with their moulded soles on. I would be really expecting that most of the players come out this afternoon with screw-in boots on. It's very important you don't slip over. Coaches go mad about that sort of stuff. So looking forward to a really big game this afternoon, important for North Melbourne.
Well, they've certainly got the form on the board. They've won 6 of their last 7, the Kangaroos, despite that hiccup last week at Geelong and Port Adelaide. Well, they may have won last week. They were impressive against Melbourne, but they've lost 9 of their last 11.
And, Johnny, I think they would look to this first quarter as something where they would really want to attack the ball and show aggression to set this game up.
Well, the Kangaroos looking forward to a good start here, kicking to the left of screen. North Melbourne has won 13 first quarters this year, which is the second most in the AFL, and they won 15 first quarters last year, which again was the second best in the AFL. They're fast starters, and they're looking for 4th spot on the AFL ladder as we get set to rumble from the MCG.
Thank you.
Shannon Grant, picked up initially by Nick Lower. Hard at it campaigner. Alapati Carlisle with David Hale. And Gibson on Motlop. Gibson made his debut against Port Adelaide. Round 1, 2006. We are underway from the MCG. Last game of the season for Port Adelaide. Kane Corns hands over to Logan. Little undecided. Retreats to Peter Burgoyne. So good last week, but that's a poor effort. Gave it up straight away. And a chance for North Melbourne. They've got numbers in the centre of the ground. Simpson hands over, running past Daniel Pratt. Wobbling kick forward into their attacking 50. Thurstons is there, bumped off it. Cassisi in support. And now they go across the face of goal, looking for the reigning best and fairest winner, Kane Corns.
Cassisi's the one who's picked up Harvey, John.
Brogan with problems. Gang tackled, he's holding the ball. Well, the pass was at his toes. He half volleyed it, couldn't control it, and then had nowhere to go.
Gee, you like that from the North Melbourne side, though. That's the aggression I think they want to see early in this game. We saw what happened to Collingwood last night. Didn't come to play, so there's a lot hanging on this game for North Melbourne.
So a chance for Lee Harding. Career best of 6 goals against Geelong back in 2002. Kicked 13-4 this season. So reliable conveyance in front of goal, and the Kangaroos draw first blood after 80 seconds.
Well, that's just the start, John. You're quite right. The application in the first few minutes from the initial bounce, it went into the half-back area, was squared up by Simpson across the ground in, and just a ferocious attempt at the ball gave them access to the first goal. Yes, Kangaroos, North Melbourne supporters would be delighted with that start.
Looks like Kane Corns has got the job on Daniel Wells at the moment.
Lee Harding, a goal kicker in 3 of his past 4 games. And North Melbourne, well, they've got an embarrassment of riches in terms of forwards at the moment. Aaron Edwards returns today after a broken leg. No room for Nathan Thompson at the moment. McIntosh wins the tap, went straight to Sean Burgoyne, couldn't find it. Ball emerges out the back of the pack. Brady Rawlings wrapped up in the tackle.
Just wonder about Port Adelaide. They don't want a lot of contest, I don't think, Dave. I think they want to get out in the open and use a fair bit of leg speed that they've got through this team.
Well, I think it's the only chance they have, Tone.
Free kick going the way of North Melbourne's Brent Harvey. Port Adelaide flooding their back line. Got 17 Port Adelaide players in their defensive 50, but still North Melbourne able to manufacture a great pass to find Corey Jones.
Well, Jones just with tremendous acceleration. It wasn't a great kick. It wasn't direct in the way, but it fell short. The bloke who was on his bike was Corey Jones. He got 10 probably metres off his opponent to take what in the bench was a very easy mark.
Been good again this season, backing up from being the leading goal kicker at the club in 2007 with 46. Kicked 32 goals so far this season, including goals in 5 of his last 6 matches. We can add to that tally now North Melbourne with a dream start.
Tony, it was the young Stewart who hasn't played. And Paul Stewart, to me, what I've seen him, he's quite a good athlete, but didn't have contact, didn't have touch on his opponent, and he read it much faster, Jones, and certainly was much quicker than the ball.
Well, the one thing about Corey Jones, I think they've got a fairly good setup now. The Kangaroos up in their forward line. Corey Jones, you've got Hale in the square as a big target, and Campbell and Thomas as those small crumbing types.
North Melbourne have kicked the first 2 goals. We played 4 minutes from the MCG. As Brogan goes at it against McIntosh. Quick kick out of the congestion. And Port Adelaide going forward. Westhoff overran it. Now a chance for Daniel Pratt. Puts his head down. Free kick going to Port Adelaide.
Yes, the advantage was called, John, but not taken.
Matthew Westhoff, the younger of the 3 brothers. This pass, though, has been cut out by Adam Simpson.
Great courage.
Oh, it was.
Only man left from the 96 premiership team for North Melbourne. And Hamish McIntosh, coming back from that right knee injury that he suffered against Fremantle back in round 12 when he clashed with Aaron Sandilands. We thought his season may have been over. He's a big bonus for North Melbourne coming into the finals. Watt able to clean up his own mess. Kangaroos still pinned in their defensive 50, however. Now they look to bring it out wide, and the open man is Daniel Pratt. He's got support as well. Finding Petrie. Looking inside. McIntosh kept running. Now unloads. Port Adelaide under pressure. Jones couldn't take the mark, but a free kick is being found going to David Hale.
Well, some ordinary signs early that Hamish McIntosh has linked up like a midfielder coming through the centre of the square and kicked the ball long, and that is a real problem. I think it's Carlisle has got that job, is it? On Hale, his body strength's an issue, and Petrie playing on Thurston's is just covering the ground too well on Thurston.
It's just an interesting sequence with 3 big blokes like midfielder, Petrie to McIntosh to Hale, all leading and running like little blokes. Fantastic to see.
North Melbourne's best ever first quarter against Port Adelaide was 7 goals won back in 1998. The way they're shaping at the moment, that could be in some danger, although for a man who kicked 8 goals last week, that wasn't a great effort.
And everybody was claiming that his technique was perfect, that he wouldn't miss, and he's missed the easiest one of the day.
Carlisle in the back pocket for Port Adelaide.
There'll be a bit of trouble getting out of there, John.
Not a lot on offer. So hoist it toward the wing. Brogan has 2 to beat, was never in position. Mark taken by Shannon Watt. Plays on. Plenty of momentum about North Melbourne at the moment. Carlisle over the top with a big punch. Kasisi. Now they run it out. And in the middle of the ground, Ebert plays on quickly. And they found the loose man in Logan. He goes deep, was looking for Lade. Out-muscled, though, by Scott McMahon. And he will look to clear with the use of Josh Gibson. The Kangaroos looking most impressive so far as they work it to Ferrito on the wing. Lead on from Shannon Grant. Got separation away from Nick Lower. Brings it around the body to the hot spot. David Hale. Play on the call. Thurstons, Pearce, Lower. Hand pass for Kane Corns didn't do him any favours. Chance now for North Melbourne. Lindsay Thomas getting involved. That looked like a throw, and a free kick is going to Port Adelaide. David Hale getting no love from the umpires so far.
The way this is set up, Daniel Pearce has got the ball in his hands now. He's playing on Michael Ferrito on the wing. It's an unusual matchup for height-wise and strength.
Peter Burgoyne. Indiscriminate kick. Really didn't do any favours for Ebert. It's tracked back by McMahon. And again, the Kangaroos reload. Hamish McIntosh in the middle. Good ball movement. Brady Rawlings. Time to measure the pass. And cutting across the mark taken by Brogan.
Boys, North Melbourne very, very alert out here so far in this game, and they're pushing their zone right up. Port Adelaide at the moment trying to think their way through this, but it's not working very well.
Kane Corns, centre wing. Fires toward the half-forward line. Going back, Brendan Lade juggles them up. Wants to play on quickly. Low trajectory on the kick. Motlop lurking into the pocket. Has Gibson to beat. Tried to be a little too cute. Trying to centre the ball. And North Melbourne clear again. Gibson, Hanson, hand pass. Didn't do any favours there for Daniel Pratt, but he's got time to go back and clean up the mess.
Gee, no pressure here. It's a free kick to the Kangaroos player Wright, who was shepherding off.
Daniel Motlop getting into the back of Lockie Hanson.
They'll look to switch here. They've got numbers. If he can get it to the top of the square, he has to turn to his left now, and he hasn't looked at all. Now he has to go down the line, I would think.
Well, he's missed an option there. He didn't look at all. You're right, Tony. Very, very ordinary play.
Good distance with the kick. Up to the wing. Thurston standing tall.
And you'd expect that to happen. Just kick the pack to a bunch. They're outnumbered.
Robbie Gray off the side of his boot. Justin Westhoff leads the charge for Port Adelaide. McMahon right there with him. Westhoff, not a lot of science there, but we'll have a throw in.
Well, that's another one, Dave. Scotty McMahon, who's played a lot of this year up forward, is now playing as a defender. So got a lot of flexibility.
Haven't they?
The Kangas. Oh, that's in the back.
Well, Picker's call earlier about rubber-soled shoes and slippery ground. I've seen 4 instances at this point where rubber soles have cost the player dreadfully.
They're ringing the interchanges down here too, boys. Very interesting. Good to see Aaron Edwards back on for his first run after obviously that serious injury early in the year.
Couldn't control the mark. Nathan Loney, the late inclusion, gets involved as well. Edwards emerged with it. Now Wells. Motlop getting involved again off the ball. Let's hope this pattern doesn't continue for the entire 4 quarters.
And it's disadvantage to the team with the ball. Then they'll stop the Kangaroos from playing the style of play they want.
Harvey on his bike, squaring the ball for Gibson. Went back casually with one hand because there was no pressure at all from Port Adelaide. And he's looking for Lee Harding. He plays on. Ebert provides some pressure, but the pass is a good one, and he finds Drew Petrie.
Oh, he's become, in the last 4 or 5 weeks, Tony, the best mobile big man in the competition, in my opinion.
He will run too hard for Toby Thurston.
Absolutely.
Aaron Edwards lurking at the back of the goal square in the pocket. No one manning him up for the moment, but Petrie likes his chances. Kicked 16 goals, 12 so far this season. Likes it off the boot, but not enough body language to get it around. It's a minor score.
Well, they're keeping him in the play a bit, aren't they? They've had so much of the ball, so many times into 50, created a multitude of oppositions, yet to really kill them on the ball.
Carlisle restarts to Toby Thurston's. We've played 11 minutes. Port Adelaide yet to score. Stewart with some purpose, looking for Matthew Westhoff. Did a good job to create a contest in the pack situation. Now it's Logan. The left footer has laid all alone. Justin Westhoff in the goal square.
Get it up. He's 9'10".
Yeah, they've got 2 players back, and that's the issue there. You can see a great camera work there from the boys, but Watt and Simpson was back there, so he's just chipped over the man on the mark. I agree, David. Get in the top of the square, see if he can do it and jump on shoulders.
Just had to wheel round and go. Yep. It wasn't a close match-up at all.
Here's Loney.
Cool.
Gray retreats to Loney right on the 50, going deep. A minor score. Port Adelaide's first. It took almost 12 minutes.
Yeah, it's been a struggle. So there hasn't been much organised play coming into their 50 at all. Well, young Stewart then he showed a little bit on the way in that time.
Urquhart out wide, looking for the run here. It was Matt Campbell. Now Hanson again, unloads and up and under. Hale goes back. McIntosh was there as well. Came to ground. Shannon Grant got involved, but now they've coughed it up. Port Adelaide, chance to clear. They find Pearce. His pass intended for Roden wasn't a good one. Ball knocked down out of bounds by Lee Harding.
Well, that ball had to be boundary side of David Roden so they could use his body and block Harding from getting to the contest, but it went back into the corridor side. Easy to spoil there.
Lade works to the front spot, taps it down to Peter Burgoyne, but his kick is going to the advantage of North Melbourne. Harvey had Daniel Pratt in support.
Oh, smart play.
Elects to use him now. He goes for distance, unprotected, goal square. North Melbourne have kicked the first 3.
Well, I thought Harvey was going to give it off the first time and should have. It started to run, then looked like his angles were going to be increased, so he just chopped it back in. So it was a great kick under pressure, open goal square. It got the legs on the bounce and ran through to defeat the defence that was running back. Great bit of play. They're carrying it so well through the midfield, and their finish into 50 is significantly better than Port Adelaide's at this time.
Well, Daniel Pratt kicks just his 5th goal of the year, but he's top 10 in the AFL in rebound 50s. He's one of the unsung heroes with North Melbourne.
Oh, and he's hard at the contest. One thing about Brent Harvey, gee, I thought players slipped.
Another
at the
slip. Well, I mean, Pickers picked it early, and he's down there and should know. You can't believe the players who've been out here, Tony, and actually warmed up on this ground wouldn't understand the difficulty.
I think they like the comfort as we see the replay here. I think Drew Petrie just went under, looking for the body contact, and he just couldn't stop his feet from coming underneath.
This is Sean Burgoyne going for Nathan Loney. Evades one tackle. Left footer into the pocket. Motlop leads Gibson. Casually reels it in. Looks for support. Port Adelaide pressing, but not for long. North Melbourne out of their defensive 50, but Simpson dropped it, laid off the ground.
Bit far down for him to pick it up, John.
Justin Westhoff gets it to his brother Matthew, throws it onto the boot quickly. Motlop against his former team, climbs upstairs, can't complete it. Shannon Watt ran his full measure and has kicked it straight to Peter Burgoyne. Can
we just say that Motlop, he thought, will I chase? No, yeah, I will, and he did. He got pressure on it, and his teammates now having a shot on goal because of it. He never does that, Tony. I mean, it's just a part of his play that's almost absent. Terrific effort, really.
Well, you can just see the sign there, and that's exactly what you've got to do. You're always in the chase. When he went up against 3 players, that's the issue for Port Adelaide at the moment, to try and get numbers in their forward line.
Burgoyne kicked 2 goals last week and gets the first for Port Adelaide today.
I'll be pleased about that.
Oh, Peter Burgoyne, he 37 disposals last week, and again, he's playing through his career. He's coming off the ground now, but here it is. Motlop goes up. You can see those 3 Kangaroo players. Port Adelaide are going to have to ask the question, do we need to put players forward? And just that pressure of a hand on the back by Daniel Motlop turns the ball over. It's called referred pressure, and that's exactly what happened onto Watt. He thought he was under more pressure than the time that he had.
Well, it took 15 minutes for Port Adelaide have their first. Both Peter Burgoyne's goals last week were in the first quarter. As Brogan takes front position. A tangle of arms will need a secondary bounce here as umpire Justin Schmidt comes in.
Sammy Power's got the big job on Sean Burgoyne. Done a good job to this stage.
Brogan with strength manhandled Petrie out of the equation. Now it's Marlon Motlop dispossessed. Coming through strongly there was Harris. North Melbourne go forward. Edwards started on the bench, has been lively. This is Robbie Gray for Port Adelaide as they get out of the danger zone. He's the AFL's best in running bounces. David Roden, chip kick, finds Ebert. Laid on the move down in the pocket. Pass wasn't a good one. Shannon Watt best placed. And the Kangaroos run it up the line. Kept it in play. Doing this with confidence as well. Kane Corns.
He's got to get rid of it. He has to get rid. Yeah, good decision by the umpire. Even Kane Corns, as experienced as he is, once you drag the ball back in
trouble.
Yep.
Lade's hurt himself too behind playing that last contest. He looks like he's really struggling.
Meanwhile, Scott McMahon rushes up the wing, looks to the half-forward line, and Hale takes a great mark.
That is a good mark, isn't it, for a big bloke to get on his bike, throw his body forward and take control.
Well, what about the difference up one end? You got Hale and you got Lade. The ball went to his toenails, and it was a bad kick, but he had no recovery at all. This man, as I said, with Liam Pickering, no doubt he covers the ground a lot better than what we give him credit for.
31 goals this season, a career best for the man from Broadbeach in Queensland. From right on the 50, unloads, looks good off the boot. He extends the lead. It's North Melbourne by 19.
Well, he regained the technique. he looked anything other than a competent goal kicker in his first attempt. Much easier shot, in my opinion. But that went exactly as it was directed, and on the end of a terrific lead and a great mark for a big man pitching forward, he's been able to convert it. And they're looking the team that we've become to admire over the last couple of seasons. They are working hard in a game that doesn't count for all that much.
4-1. North Melbourne making all the running, and Brendan Lade at the other end of the ground with his problems. Let's have a look at a replay.
Well, it wasn't a great kick, was it? But then he just, I don't know, went over on his ankle or knee, but he's up and about now. Just wondering whether Alipati Carlisle might be better suited to Drew Petrie and Thurston's might go to what? Just a swap over of that matchup.
Well, they've got to try something now, you're right.
Rawlings at ground level.
And an interesting one as this comes to a close here. Pearce is playing on Corey Jones. He'd matched the speed, about a foot shorter and about 30 kilos lighter, and he's playing in the back half, Pearce. That's going to be a good one. I'd be going to Corey Jones every time.
Loney goes wide to find David Roden. He
Good
measures
kick.
the pass and getting on the lead, Justin Westhoff.
David Roden, what really smart play there. If he bombed the ball forward, they were outnumbered in the square again, and he's seen Justin Westhoff just over the top of the mark. And it's a hard kick, David, isn't it? The man's on your mark, and you try and lob it into space to your leading
Great
forward.
kick.
So it takes a bit of talent.
We're looking at two Westhoffs there. I think the future of Port Adelaide.
Justin Westhoff from 45 out. Going to get the distance, and it's helped through for a minor score.
Well, he's only got sticks, hasn't he, to kick with. He hasn't got any power. There's no muscle on those long legs, I can tell you.
Just one thing with the Kangas, they're trialling a few things too. I know they're nearly dominating this game so far, but Scotty McMahon, as I said, is playing as a defender. And Michael Ferrito is playing in the forward line. So trying to find out what their teammates can do or players can do, even coming into a final series.
Super idea.
Yeah.
And it's a great time to do it.
Pratt restarts beyond the defensive 50. Brogan wanted a free kick. He was just outmarked there by Drew Petrie.
Gosh, it was a good mark. It was a good mark.
Boys, this is where they've caused a little bit of trouble to Port Adelaide. Their switcher play and their rebound from half-back's been terrific, North Melbourne, early this match.
Justin Westhoff making good ground there to win it back for Port Adelaide. Now Pearce to Brogan.
Well, that one was intercepted, as Liam said. They still tried to switch the ball in the corridor.
Port Adelaide looking for an avenue to goal. Brogan chips for Ebert, has two to beat. Pass a little too high. North Melbourne with numbers, and it trickles over the line, out of bounds.
It was a two. I mean, Brogan's first election to go outside with his hand pass was the wrong decision. Then he gets the ball back in on the ring around, and his kick was an absolute disaster. Anything low and hard would have got a result. Up over the top, his forward got killed.
McMahon. Chip over the top for Shannon Grant down in the back pocket. Not a lot on offer for him at the moment. Runs outside the defensive 50, goes high to centre wing. Pack develops, and mark has been taken.
Oh, that's 50. That's 50. Gee, that's hard, and it looked like Nick Lauer was going to play on, and then Matty Campbell, who started the game on the bench, you just cannot do this. You've got to wait till the umpire says that it's play on, and that's a 50-metre penalty.
Tell you what, boys, he scorched the grass, Matty Campbell. He started out of the forward pocket then. He ran about 70 metres to get on the end of that. Now, he gave away the free kick, but his pace, unbelievable.
Well, Nick Lauer's played 14 AFL games before today. He's never kicked a goal. Let's see if he can get an important one for Port Adelaide. They've only got one so far. That's fading, not online. A minor score.
Boys, love my cricket, you know that, but Lower has got, Phoenix, the biggest thigh pad on his right thigh that you've ever seen. So he must have obviously got a pretty bad cork, but it'd have to be 4 inches thick.
He's got the mattress.
It's unbelievable. Have a look at it.
Well, he's a very hard customer. No surprise that he's got some battle wounds. Gibson.
I'll tell you what, then Liam picked it up, that the Kangaroos are trying to switch the ball back into the corridor, and that's where they kicked their early goals. But I thought Port's done a fairly good job in the last 7 minutes to hold them up and stem the flow of the play.
Well, I just don't think they can afford, Tony, just to take them on. I mean, they lost momentum. It's not with their normal, natural style of play, but I think just to get the game on an even balance again, they have to play that way. You're quite right.
Drew Petrie again creating problems for the opposition ruckman with his mobility. There's an obvious free kick given away there, and he kicked it straight to Brogan, who was standing the mark. Great for Peter Burgoyne. No Port Adelaide players in their attacking 50 at the moment. They're going to have to think their way through this. Justin Westhoff retreats to Motlop. Over the top, Peter Burgoyne once more. Thought about playing on. Got it to Justin Westhoff now. He's looking into the pocket, trying to find Ebert. But nipping back to take the mark is McMahon, who's had plenty of it.
Well, John, you called it. When they went to go forward initially from the middle, there wasn't a single Port Adelaide player in their half of the ground, and they did pretty well to actually get it into the pocket, I thought, on the end of that.
Well, you're not going to score. You're not going to kick a winning score unless you put players forward to have one-on-ones. Like, they're getting enough of the ball at the moment around this sort of area, but then they look up, and it's a real issue in their forward line that they've got no one to kick to, and they're outnumbered by 4.
Motlop's all alone down on the half-forward flank. Pearce couldn't find him, though. Elected to go a little deeper at the back. Robbie Gray lurking.
Free kick.
Taken high.
And see where that is, John, though. See where that kick is to where he's going to kick from. That's why they can't kick to the top of the square. They've got to try and find targets out wide in a little bit of space.
Yeah, no, I felt sorry for Pearce, though. He absolutely had no one except that option.
Oh,
You're quite right. Yeah, no,
it's not the player's fault with the ball.
It's the
targets.
Set up, yeah.
Robbie Gray has only played one game in the last 7 weeks. Tight angle. He's threaded the needle. What a finish from Robbie Gray.
Well, in the finish, to get the result, as you talk about, a setup that forced the ball as deep as you can get it in the wrong pocket. Robbie Gray's taken a good, strong mark without body contact. No, he missed the mark, but got the free kick. And then from an acute angle, bit of distance required. Great, what do we call it in South Australia? Check side kick.
I tell you what, it was a good finish, but you wouldn't want to be kicking for goal to win the game every time from there.
Well, he showed his captain. His captain in the corresponding game earlier in the season had to do exactly the same and failed, so the boys at least given some direction to his leader.
He is a live wire, just 20 years of age, Robbie Gray. Played 10 games this season. He's been a goal kicker in 9 of them.
Reminds me of Ebert, same sort of player as Ebert. Strong overhead for his size.
Kangaroos heading forward. 25 and a bit minutes played here in the first quarter. Grant unloads from 55, bringing it back. Not enough, a minor score.
Well, they would have got the fans out of their seats on that one.
Well, it's a bit sad because, I mean, Edwards ran hard. Wasn't it? Edwards who ran hard and took and gave off. It was great. It would have been lovely for him to kick that one.
Marlon Motlop with it now for Port. For Loney, he has Logan on the lead. Little over 90 seconds left on the clock in the first quarter. Logan chipping short. He's had plenty of it, Daniel Pearce, coming up for disposal number 7. Only Peter Burgoyne with 9 has more in the game. Loney again. Kick partially smothered, now in dispute. Sean Burgoyne evades 2 would-be tacklers. Got it to Ebert, back to Pearce. Tight angle again, low trajectory. Can't bring it back enough, a minor score.
Sean Burgoyne's
beautiful.
I want him around the ball and with the ball all the time, because what he does when he's got hold of it, he's a Robert Harvey in about another 5th gear, doesn't he? He's just terrific.
And another foot taller.
Yes, true. And, yeah, just a terrific player.
You're wanting to get it more, David. He doesn't accumulate enough in enough games. You know, when he was going really well last year, that's what he did. But this year it hasn't been there, so just love him to get the ball a little bit more.
Shannon Watt trying to get it to Simpson. Into his back, Peter Burgoyne trying to draw a free kick. Port Adelaide a little hungrier for the ball now. Peter Burgoyne looking for Ebert. Pass, not a good one. Too deep. Daniel Motlop against his former team. Shrugs Lee Harding. Impressive work to Ebert. Tried to give it to Gray. They have one pass too many.
What was Brett Ebert thinking? He just had the run into goal, and it looks like there's an injured player at Lee Harding. Oh, I hope it's not a knee. He's, as we know, come back from a knee reconstruction. But it's a free kick. They found a free kick. And it's going to Robbie Gray again. I don't know why. But look at that from Motlop. He meant to do that off the ground. And, gee, I don't know who Brett Ebert, he just had a brain fade then.
Well, Gray comes in from point-blank range. Port Adelaide get back-to-back goals and close the gap to 5 points.
Well, It's good, Anthony, to see the change in method that Port Adelaide brought about. They did slow it down and wait, and it's been hard going in because they haven't had targets that have been available. Slowly
Look
taking
at Motlop here, Dave.
only he could think to do that. I mean, I think he was trying to make the way. He believed that Ebert was going to kick the goal, I think.
And we just see here, look, this is the magic of Daniel Motlop. No doubt he meant to kick that on top, and then the bad handball and holding the man free kick.
Well, Lee Harding didn't play a game last year because of a knee reconstruction. He was a leading goal kicker at North Melbourne in 2003. Let's hope that's not too serious with the finals beckoning. It took Port Adelaide 15 minutes to kick their first goal. And they've kicked 3 in a hurry since then, and a 5-point ball game. Marlon Motlop out there tracking down Matt Campbell. Campbell a little too elusive for the moment. Both projects from North Adelaide in the SANFL. Power on the wing, trying to measure the kick. Logan going back with courage.
Did he what?
Hale. Well, an entertaining first quarter concludes. Less than a straight kick separates these teams. It didn't start too well for Mark Williams and Port Adelaide as they saw the Kangaroos kick the first 3 goals of the game. At one stage, the margin was out to 19 points, but at quarter time, it's a 5-point ball game. North Melbourne 4-3-27, Port Adelaide 3-4-22. Welcome back to the MCG when these teams played in round 15. North Melbourne led by 3 points at quarter time. Here we are 7 weeks later, and it is a 5-point buffer for the Kangaroos after they kicked the first 3 goals of the game and led by 19. Port Adelaide, though, kicked 3 of the last 4 to get us back to this equation. And what do you make of those numbers so far, Tony?
Well, the contested possession just showed that the Kangaroos are really just dominating. But I just thought that Port Adelaide stabilised the last part of the quarter, John. And Dave, I think it was Robbie Gray. I said that they didn't have enough numbers in their forward line. Maybe Mark Williams is starting a loose man in defence, and then he's pushing them forward. But let's go down the boundary line with Liam Pickering.
Yes, boys, very animated, both coaches at quarter time. Dean Laidley got straight out to his team and was very, very animated about, I reckon, about the ball use, because Port Adelaide really slowed them down in the second part of that quarter. I thought they did a pretty good job. Mark Williams also, as we see Laidley there pushing through, he was out there. Now, he was very, very instructional, if you like, to the Westhoff boys about some body use, I believe, there. That's Matthew Westhoff, also Justin Westhoff. Good news also about, as I say, pretty animated. He was down early as well. Also, good news about Lee Harding. He's joined the group. His left knee was examined. Looks like he's okay.
Well, that is good news for North Melbourne, particularly with the finals now just a week away.
John, one of the interesting, we've got 2 matchups. Kane Corns taking Wells. He's done a superb job, I think, on Wells to this point, who's been almost non-existent. But Rawlings is such a tight controller, and Peter Burgoyne coming in off good form last week. Burgoyne's had 10 to this stage and Rawlings 5. You think there might be a bit of direction from the coach to shut Peter Burgoyne down?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, well, Rawlings doing that. It's Sean Burgoyne's the one. I like to get, like I said, you need the ball in his hand, Dave. The other thing about it is, if he's not doing it in the midfield, pushing forward, he's a very dangerous medium-sized forward, and it's a hard matchup. And Daniel Wells is starting in centre. We can see
that's trying to free him up and get him on that.
Lee Harding there. Lee Harding, we're having that knee examined, and gee, hopefully everything's going to be all right. He's out there, which is a good sign for the Kangaroos.
It's Daniel Wells, just 1 handball to his credit so far as we get set to go. Term number 2. Umpire Luke Farmer does the honours. Brogan and McIntosh at it again. Burgoyne at clearance, looking for Logan with the run of Kane Corns. Port Adelaide going forward immediately, and they find Matthew Westhoff.
He's a very productive player as well, Kane Corns. He's not just a player. He gets the ball and uses it extremely well.
Pass into the pocket, looking for Gray. Couldn't take the mark and now trickles out of bounds. And he's been so durable as well, David.
Yeah.
Yep.
Kane Corns is now in his 126th consecutive appearance. Hasn't missed a game since round 17, 2003. And always a hard worker as Hansen looks to relieve some pressure for North Melbourne. Brent Harvey with a run of it, Cassisi with him. Harvey's still got plenty of gas in those legs at 30 years of age. And look at the pass. Petrie wants to go quickly. Hale at the back against Carlisle, out of position. Hale just couldn't reel it in. Ball at ground level. And they need to get it out, Port Adelaide. Holding the ball is going to be the call there from umpire Justin Schmidt.
Very courageous decision, but I think if we see that he did pull the ball back in, you have to get it out somehow and at least show you're trying. So let's have a look here. Well, he falls on the ball and it's out. Oh, that's harsh.
That is harsh.
Yeah, he didn't pull it in.
No, not at all.
He fell over the ball. I think that was a ball up, so the umpire got it wrong.
Not good.
Well, it was how we could see all the hands on the ball, and he did not drag it in the first place.
Well, Shannon Grant with a chance to kick his first goal in game number 300. Minor score to his credit in the opening term. Comes in from 30 metres out, makes no mistake, and extends North Melbourne's lead to 11 points.
Well, it's good. It's good in your, I guess, milestone game, Anthony. You'd like to think they'd win, and you'd like to think you'd make a contribution, particularly around the goal. So
now this is Dominic Kozuski. I want to say something about this positioning, that I think he should be outside of the corridor on Brent Harvey. If you give Brent Harvey that space, he's the quickest man in the competition, and he knows how to use his body. But we see this free kick. No, I don't think he dragged that in. He fell over the ball, and then everybody else held it. That was the wrong decision, but Shannon Grant made the most of it.
North Melbourne benefiting from a lopsided free kick count at the moment. In fact, the last 3 goals have been kicked from free kicks, but 2 of those were to Port Adelaide. McIntosh wins the tap against Brogan. Simpson a quick kick out of the centre square. Dane Harvey wrestling there with Cassisi. A good battle. Damon White, hand pass for Kane Corns. Now Ebert getting back to help out the defenders.
Good kick. Oh, it was, the idea was a good kick.
Looking for Roden. The execution just let him down.
Did it what?
Hamish McIntosh loses control. So too Roden. Loney going in over the top, gives away a free kick. Brady Rawlings takes the advantage to Grant. Inside the centre square. On the lead, Petrie.
Well, I said good kick, and what I meant was the
good
idea.
Selection.
He looked up, good selection, bad execution, as John called, because he looked up the ground. There were 3 Kangaroos players, Brett Ebert up on the wing. He couldn't kick it long, went back in the corridor where you can hurt the opposition, missed the target. And
well, he missed both targets.
Yeah, he did.
There were 2 targets there, but he missed them both. He split the 2.
Well, Petrie has only kicked 1 goal in his last 4 games.
Tell you, John, just away
never
from
online.
Young Hansen's doing a terrific job at centre-half back too for the Kangaroos. I reckon North Melbourne have gained an enormous amount by getting him up and going because he had talent and playing him in a role which is now making his own.
Sean Burgoyne restarts, good distance with the kick. Looking for Brogan. Harvey, quick hands, gave it up to Roden, who shrugs the tackle. Now Brogan, close quarters, Cassisi. Has Pearce available, out wide. Slips inside his defender in Pratt. Hands over to Daniel Motlop. Well within his repertoire from 45 out. Never looked like missing. Port Adelaide get their first of the quarter.
Well, that's a player who knows his limitations. He knew that Daniel Motlop, I thought he could have gone all the way through the forward 50.
And he could have.
And he could have. And McMahon was coming to him, but I think Daniel Pearce has said, hey, I know you kick it longer than me and probably more accurate. You watch here. Has a look, sees over, then looks around and go, yep, you're a better kick than me. Put it in Daniel Motlop's hand and he will finish off pretty well most of the time. So well done to Daniel Pearce.
As long as he doesn't have to think about it.
Well, Daniel Motlop started his career with North Melbourne in 2001, played 47 games for them, and now today his 50th appearance for Port Adelaide, since debuting, ironically, against the Kangaroos in round 1 2006. Brady Rawlings gets the ball out of the centre for North Melbourne and comes back to him as well. Drives forward, wrestling off the ball. Hale will win a free kick here against Alapati Carlisle. He's bordering on a 50-metre penalty as well.
I don't know whether I saw it exactly the same way, but anyway, yeah, he did push him early, I guess, but it's just body contact that he sort of fell away from the ball.
I think I'd make a change here. I said it in the first quarter, Toby Thurston's got a bigger body, and I've got no doubt that Alapati Carlisle would play better on Petrie. because Petrie gets up the ground a lot more than Hale, so just swap them over.
Already a goal kicker in the first quarter. David Hale celebrating his 100th AFL appearance, looking to extend North Melbourne's lead out to 12 points. Never looked like missing. The Kangaroos go ahead.
Well, John, it seems that the North Melbourne team are playing with much more authority. What they do in their setup and forward movements looks to be significantly better, but give Port their due. They've hung in, and just sheer, I guess, aggression and competitiveness, they're staying in a game without any clear method of doing it.
And there's the 4 players we mentioned.
Little over 6 minutes played in the second quarter. North Melbourne by 12 after starting this term leading by 5 points. Centre square infringement against North Melbourne. Peter Burgoyne takes it quickly, drives deep. Westhoff nudged underneath the ball there by Shannon Watt, and now trickling out of bounds.
Well, he wouldn't be pleased with that kick. Peter Burgoyne is far better with the usage than that. That was a nondescript kick over the top that ended out of bounds in the forward pocket.
The back, problems there for Pratt. Good tackling from Port Adelaide. Now Wells gets involved. Holding the ball decision.
I suppose he said he made no effort to get rid of it. It was instantaneous take and tackle.
Shannon Grant.
You won't get players going for the ball if they're going to get free kicks played against them like that.
Exactly.
Here's Matt Campbell on the wing. To the half-forward line. Good mark from Corey Jones. Wanted to play on in traffic. Taken down by Nick Lower.
He's a smarter player than that. He must have been aware that he was never going to get away with that.
What's the ball here? Don't hold off the side.
Petrie and Brogan, the 220s, go at it. McIntosh for Adam Simpson around the body. Again, they're pressing, but Sean Burgoyne takes the mark. Coming out of the defensive line. Well, the hand pass from Kane Corns was a poor one at Roden's feet. Wells, athletically and impressively. Now Hamish McIntosh and North Melbourne have numbers. Shannon Grant can go even wider and does so now for Simpson. Multiple options at the top of the goal square. Now Aaron Edwards leading, but the pass goes to Rawlings. He's going for distance. Coming out on the lead. Mark couldn't be completed by Jones. That was Daniel Pearce slipping. Damon White for Sean Burgoyne. Calling a crisis. Now out for Logan. Brent Harvey just onto the ground. Forces the error. They weren't anticipating his presence. Now he takes a bounce. Draws a player. Gets it to Petrie, who wheels around. Unloads from 45. Can't get it online at all. It's out on the full.
Well, their hand skills have turned over twice when they've been running forward. Burgoyne's been involved. And let's have a look at this. Oh, you just got to be better than that. The old look-away handball.
And they had 4-to-1 options. You couldn't have missed. They had one round each part of the circle.
Thurston's to restart. 9 minutes played in the second quarter. Not a lot on offer now. Damon White presents. He's going back to Thurston's. Got numbers out wide. Looking for Stewart. Stewart, just a chip kick over the top, looking for Brogan, covering a lot of territory. Off a step, pass for Justin Westhoff. Now Motlop is the only player inside the attacking 50, so Westhoff measures it for Robbie Gray, but the bounce beats him out of bounds.
Their own worst enemy at the moment, Port, not missing targets. Robbie Gray worked from this half-back flank then to that spot. You just got to hit the target to reward your teammate.
Another chance for Port Adelaide. It's David Roden, 35 metres out and closing. He punches the air with delight. It's back to a straight kick.
On the end of the 3 or 4 of the worst kicks I've ever seen. That was
a beautiful
beautiful play to get under and find a bit of space, but that to lop it over the top and run it into a goal. It was just David Roden at his best.
I thought some sanity prevailed. They put the ball in someone with a bit of skill who finished off because they're finding it hard to find goals, but it's just some magical play by the Motlop, Roden and Pearce keep them in this game.
Started on the bench today, David Roden. He's one of only 3 Port Adelaide players to play every game so far this season, as Nick Lower received some treatment there. Roden didn't miss a game last year either in his first season after leaving Richmond. So he has been a tremendous picker for Port Adelaide.
Oh, hands.
This is Logan. Measures the pass, looking for Justin Westhoff, trying to shake Shannon Watt. Coming again, Logan keeps it alive. Robbie Gray. Now Daniel Pearce in a confined space, threads the needle and ties the game away.
Well, I guess if you were going to give you the ball and he hadn't shown it early, no, but you're going to give it to Roden or you give it to Pearce, I suppose, on the run like that. That was an enormous effort. You know, with pressure being applied, they were able to get it away and feed it through. Just terrific.
Just one thing about their last 3 goal kickers, Dave. Motlop, Roden, Pearce. Just that magic that you need to keep you in. We know how talented they are, but now to finish off has got them back into the game with a number of goals.
Well, Daniel Pearce, after a slow start to the year, has been a goal kicker in his last 3 games. That's 10 for the season. And it's 6-4 apiece here after North Melbourne led by as many as 19 points deep into the first quarter. Brogan up high, taps it for Logan, ducked the head under the tackle from Harris. Roden emerges with it. Kane Corns, second most handballs in the AFL, adds to his tally. Peter Burgoyne worked himself back into trouble, then out of it. Kane Corns on the end of it. And that's a nice pass from Corns as well, looking for Robbie Gray. Couldn't complete the mark. Josh Gibson, good distance with the hand pass. And North Melbourne relieved the pressure for Brady Rawlings. Middle stages of the second quarter. Petrie turns and runs. North Melbourne go to work here. Lindsay Thomas into the pocket. He was looking for his partner in crime, Matt Campbell, and he's been paid the mark. Plays on quickly with a banana. The quick reply from North Melbourne.
Well, I think Jacob Surgeon lost his footing when that ball came forward. And we'll just have a look. Yeah, I think it was just prior to that. And fantastic play then by Matty Campbell. He marked the ball, but then just quick to play on. Smart to know that he might have been put on an angle which would have been too severe to finish off with. I just say about Thomas and Campbell, I think they've given the Kangaroos something they haven't had for 3 or 4 years. 2 very good, smart crumbing forwards.
Agree with all that, Tony, except I didn't think it was a mark. I don't reckon he ever controlled it at any stage. I would have called play on. He still might have kicked the goal.
Brendan Lade into the ruck for Port Adelaide for the first time. Lindsay Thomas dispossessed.
And Johnny, that's the area where Port Adelaide had got back into this game, the clearances, 11-10, and I think they were down by 5 at quarter time. So Brogan did a good job. Now Lade's got to stand up in there.
With a height advantage on Petrie. Justin Westhoff, third man up in the contest. Kane Corns looking to knock it forward as well for Rito. Hasn't seen a lot of the ball. Hands over. Daniel Wells. His kick, well, I presume it was intended for Lindsay Thomas. It wasn't a good one.
He hasn't had that many of them, and you think he'd make better use than that.
Must be something about playing on Kane Corns. He just does it week in, week out. Stops the opposition best midfielder from getting it and gets the pulse of the ball himself.
And Peter Burgoyne unlucky not to win a free kick there for Rito. In traffic, cool in the crisis. McMahon, look out. Daniel Motlop closing. Back to Farito. We're putting one another under pressure here. Harris ended up with it, now out of bounds.
They're making a bit of a mess of it at the moment. They're being closed down in terms of time and space and not getting a good result. Yeah,
Daniel Wells, after that contest on the wing, come up limping.
Petrie takes front position. Ball trickles over the back. Farito trying to draw a free. Couldn't get it. Hansen got it from Brady Rawlings. Good distance with the kick. Corey Jones couldn't complete it. Thurston's through solidly. Here's Sean Burgoyne. Time to measure the pass. Justin Westhoff and Kane Corns combined.
And John, Daniel Wells is coming from the ground. I tell you what, he looks dejected. He's got his head down. Hope it's not too serious. He is jogging off, but limping.
This is Marlon Motlop trying to produce some magic. Goes to Pearce, who kicked a miraculous goal already in this quarter. Short pass, not a good one. Petrie cuts it out. Well, there's Daniel Wells.
It's taken him a long time, John, to get off the ground. To be truthful, they've played one short for about 1.5 minutes.
He missed 7 games last year with knee problems. He's missed a couple of games this season as well. Motlop taken down by McMahon. Play on the call. Late, slow to react.
Very slow.
McMahon involved again. This is Sam Power, covering from that heavy KO last week. And McMahon, well, there's a lot to like about his game. It's no frills, but he can get the job done.
And Motlop's down also, so two very talented players from each side. He's up all right now. I think it was that tackle.
I think Sam Power might just be struggling a bit from that hit on the head. He certainly hasn't been as prolific as he was up until he was hurt last week. It's always a bit of a worry, I think, Tony, the week after.
Well, here's that Motlop tackle. We'll just see what happened here. And well, everybody stopped because they thought he was going to be pinned for holding the ball, but he got his foot to it. And here's Daniel Wells. We'll see what happens here. Oh, someone just fell. It was Sam Power fell across his leg.
Knee.
While that was happening, Corey Jones is headed to the bench because of the blood rule. Treat the ankle of Daniel Wells. Gavin Urquhart has gone on to the ground in replace of Jones. Well, here's a chance for Port Adelaide going to work. Stewart, is it? Likes it off the boot, and Stewart comes up with the goods. His first goal in the AFL.
Well, that's super for a young bloke, and he's been working pretty hard today without great effect, and was able to use it in a very clever manner off the outside of his boot and bring it back on the run.
He'd be pretty.
Yeah, no doubt. He absolutely lined it up and kicked it with the correct trajectory across his boot. They'll be delighted. I mean, they really have hung him well. I mean, obviously with the score equal at this stage in the second quarter, they're in with a real chance.
Just again then, John, the clearance, though, was too easy, wasn't it, from a defensive clearance just on the 50-metre arc to run towards goal with no opposition players in front there. See, Corey Jones has got some cotton wool hanging out of his nose. Not a great look. And I'll wrap that up.
Oh, good evasive skills there from Daniel Harris to get North Melbourne working. Power lost control of it under pressure. Roden has Gray available. He waited for the ball to bounce, and now he has to retrieve it. On the retreat, Surgeon brings it out for Marlon Motlop. Wants Damon White in the middle of the ground. Roden had time with the acceleration to measure the pass. It wasn't a good one, though. Ebert had 2 to beat. Finds it on the ground, wrapped up in a strong tackle. Ball spills back to Roden. Stand by Cassisi, about to be tackled. Somehow manufactured a kick, and while on the ground, knocked down the ball as well. Well, he's got a bag of tricks, Dominic Cassisi. This is Shannon Grant. Ebert with a strong tackle. Keeps the ball in the area. Logan picks it up. The left footer fires, but no one home. And Josh Gibson can take a mark and relieve the pressure with support from Brent Harvey, and North Melbourne are away. Sam Power looking for the lead of Matt Campbell. Free kick. And he plays on quickly, takes on Surgeon with a bounce.
Dropping the ball.
Holding the ball.
Great chase.
Oh, it was.
I'll tell you what, they are up and about
They are.
Port at the moment, and the longer this game goes and they hang in there, they know they don't play next week, Dave, so they've got 6 months off.
Oh, yeah.
You can work through some pain knowing you've got 6 months off.
And the flip side being that North Melbourne, knowing the result is so important to them, start to get a little nervous
Yes.
as well.
Oh.
Corey Jones back onto the ground, almost like the Phantom. Won it back, but now it's Pearce. Hand pass knocked down. Jones comes again. Now Marlon Motlop wrapped up in the tackle by Shannon Grant.
We have a game on our hands here, boys. Well, what he did, he bounced that and lost control, so that had to be holding the ball.
Correct decision.
Good second effort from Jacob Surgeon. Laid, just palms it to Robbie Gray. Didn't get enough on the handball, though. It was snatched away by Sam Power momentarily. Harris threw solidly, found it on the ground, goes back to Power. Could have had a push in the back. Umpire didn't see it that way.
The other umpire saw it, John. Good call.
What about Harris's terrific hand pass coming up from under? He's very, very good at doing that.
Oh, well, look, the Kangaroos, you know, they play pretty physical football. Port Adelaide have had doubts in that areas, but they've met the challenge here in this second quarter.
More than anything more.
Power plays on, still inside the centre square. Good distance with the kick, lurking at the back. Edwards couldn't take the mark. Damon White unable to keep it alive and out of bounds. We're into time on in the second quarter. Scores level.
Ooh, nearly a free kick, went too early.
North Melbourne pressing.
Boys, that Edwards one just shows a lack of timing, really.
Yeah.
I mean, he's been out of footy a long time. He's just played, I think, just the one game at VFL level, kicked 4 last week. So you'd reckon he'll get his timing back. We know he can take a grab.
Are they restrapping that ankle of Daniel Wells, Liam? I think it's a
They
big
are,
issue.
sure, yeah. Like, he should be back on. If not before half-time, you'd reckon he'd definitely play in the second half. His ankle's been restrapped. He's putting his boot on as we speak.
Corns shut down. There's Daniel Wells.
He's on the spot, Liam Pickering, isn't he, down on the boundary line there?
Loving it down here, Shorey.
Gee, I hope it rains.
I bet you do.
Daniel Motlop back to Lade. The ruckman with the luxury of a bounce. Goes for distance. Not a great kick, but it might work fortuitously for Matthew Westhoff. And he's holding the ball.
Gee, that was harsh too. What could the boy do? You know, the man's got the sit on him.
Let's play on.
Let's play on. It just comes out. Let's have a look at this.
Oh,
now, 1-2. He's grabbed straight away. He's tried to do something with his hands. Oh, look, that's just play on. Comes out in the tackle.
Ferrito got it from Daniel Pratt, who supplied the tackle. Just under 7 minutes left until the major break. Brent Harvey at the back against Cassisi. Couldn't reel it in one-handed. Edwards without it. Simpson for Josh Gibson, the defender. From 60 metres out to the hot spot. Ball trickles over the back. Chance for North Melbourne's runners.
Now, you nearly got to play a free kick.
That was, he did pull it back in.
Yeah. Let's not talk about the umpires and what's going on there. This is a great game. Both sides going head-to-head and hard at it.
Pushing cloud.
Kane Corns, third man up. They've been trying to knock it through for a minor score. Corey Jones for Sam Power.
Gee, that was untidy.
Corey's kick. Go to the back.
A free kick against Robbie Gray, who's come off second best in the tackle as well.
Well, you've got to keep your feet here. You know you can't influence the handball. Well, watch here. Corey Jones. Now, this is going to go out anyway. You just got to try and keep your feet. Bit untidy in defence there. Wrong side for his kick, though, Dave. Left footer. Will he try a check side?
Obviously, well,
He doesn't know what he's doing.
He was going to give it off, but he was just, he's got erudite, this bloke, so it's not like, oh, sorry, apologise.
Oh, you cannot do that.
Chips in and finds Lockie Hansen.
He's run all the way down from centre half back. That's not good. You're right, Anthony. You should not be able to find that bloke. They should have all been covered. Like, there's 35 players in that 50-metre area, and they can still find a loose bloke running into it.
5 metres, please, now. Daniel Motlop. Move 5
Well, Lockie
metres out.
Hansen has kicked 4 goals without a miss this season after being taken number 3 in the 2006 draft. This to break the deadlock, and given his form, you would suggest he would. He's broken the deadlock, but not the way North Melbourne would have hoped.
Oh, you can moz him, John. You can moz him.
Well, he's been a slow work in progress,
He
I
has,
suppose,
hasn't he?
because he had a talent coming in the game that everybody recognised, and I think he's just made up his mind he wants to be there and play.
Yes, there was a lot of conjecture about him playing in the prelim final last year against Port Adelaide, and they rolled the dice. Dean Laidley gave him the job. He played, and since then has been developing. That's a poor kick, though, from Daniel Harris. And Port Adelaide come up with it. Kane Corns has been busy. 14 disposals. Now Peter Burgoyne again going for distance. A chance for Lay. McMahon, undersized, somehow got back to put a fist on it, and Lade's hit the post.
I was going to say, Brendan Lade, how slow is that? And why didn't he use his body in the marking contest and he allowed McMahon to get back? I thought, oh, no.
Just had to stop him, didn't he?
But then he's hit the post with the recovery. It looks like the game just gone past him. But this played fairly well last week, well, 2 weeks ago, Brendan Lade.
Pratt restarts for Ferrito.
He keeps doing enough to think you suggest there's another year in him.
Oh,
he did
no doubt.
He did have a long lean patch there, Tony, for about 6 weeks.
I think the biorhythms are down today, though.
Punch from behind by Carlisle, an intelligent one to the advantage of Stewart, who uses Brogan. Pearce, almost permanently camped on the boundary line there. Drives deep and Lade answers his critics.
That's the body we want. You could just see him, and I think it was Watt on that occasion, who is bigger than McMahon, and the long kick over the top, used his body beautifully. Did he use his hand? No, well done.
It's a big quarter, Daniel Pearce.
Yes.
Some of his ball use inside 50 has been very, very important.
Well, Lave's given it up here to David Roden, who marches into an open goal, and Port Adelaide hit the lead for the first time today.
Well, that is incredible, because I think Lade has got terrific skills, and as much as I'd give it off to the little bloke too to have a shot at goal on the run, you reckon if he missed that, you'd be in awful trouble with the coach.
And here's Daniel Pearce as he centres the ball from the boundary line. Liam Pickering, he's right, he's had 14 possessions, but that's the body work. We know Brendan Lade's a good mark above his head, and normally a very good kick, so fairly dangerous.
I'd back him in. Oh,
Roden's second goal of the quarter. Port Adelaide have kicked 4 of the last 5 to take the lead.
begs the question, if he's standing there inside the player, he was actually forward of the player with the ball at the moment, then surely an opposition player's allowed to go and stand in there too.
Exactly, where was he?
Well, where was he?
Brogan rushes at Hamish McIntosh, who wins the tap for Simpson. Forward, but lower. Too strong for Corey Jones. That's been a good battle. This is Damon White. Corns back to Marlon Motlop, who looks out wide for Justin Westhoff.
Tell you what they're doing at the moment. They are outrunning the Kangaroos at the moment, especially from their half-back line. The Kangaroos now need a forward to stand up.
Westhoff given the hurry up. Looking short, though. Finds Kasisi.
Well, you're right, Tony. They're just looking a bit lazier. There's not the same work output, not the same run, not the same manning up that there was when the opposition had the ball. It's just gone from the Kangaroos' play.
Sean Burgoyne, centering kick for Nathan Loney. The late inclusion after Travis Boak withdrew.
He wanted to swing onto that left foot then.
Now the lead is on from
is too
Justin
easy.
Westhoff, who started the play on the half-back line.
Dean Laley would be pulling his hair out of the lack of contest at the moment.
Westhoff to the goal front. Ebert lurking. And we'll have a boundary throw in.
This is a dangerous area.
Well,
let's look for Sean Burgoyne or Pearce, those types of players, Road, and they'll have a set-up here. Brogan's in the ruck up against McIntosh.
Brogan from behind.
Ooh, there it is.
Looking to feed Kasisi. Snags it off the boot. It tumbles through, and Port Adelaide have kicked 3 in a row.
Well, Tony, you couldn't have written the script any better for them, and I'm not as confident about Brogan with his work as I would have had been at Lade, but he actually dropped it down goal side but in close, and it allowed him to run through almost straight on. Certainly got molested on the way and the ball jumped clear again, but this is fantastic, fantastic football.
Dominic Kasisi.
Yeah, Kasisi's been a very, very competent player, and to finish it off like that, that's the goal the Kangaroos didn't want.
Well, Kasisi becomes the 7th different goal kicker for Port Adelaide. Dean Laidley ringing the changes. His team, who led by 19 points in the first quarter, now find themselves 12 points in arrears. Port Adelaide has kicked 5 of the last 6 goals. Kasisi goes off the ground. Ebert strongly. And we'll need a bounce.
We might have a turn-up weekend, John. Might have a turn-up week.
Just want to show this replay. Daniel Harris, you can just see him there knock goal side of Kasisi. I tell you what, he'll be shown that 100 times during the week.
Justin Westhoff in traffic, tried to barge his way through. Unable to do so. Hansen wrapped up by multiple tacklers. 2.5 minutes left on the clock until half-time. Port Adelaide by 12 points. The Adelaide fans, the St Kilda fans, the Sydney Swans fans are all on board.
Are they what?
North Melbourne can lock up 4th, but at the moment they've got a lot on their plate.
Now that's got to be holding the ball. That has to be holding.
Yes,
Good.
absolutely.
Great decision by the umpire. Is it Schmidt again?
Justin Schmidt, the lawyer.
Well, he showed a lot of courage on a number of occasions here. He got one wrong the other area, but no doubt. And gee, Daniel Harris, he's having a shocking 2 minutes at the moment. He's a courageous player. He puts his body over it, but you know you don't want to lose your feet. He pulls the ball in, and then it's held to him. That has to be
in
the interpretation of the rule.
Letter of the law. That's exactly right.
Free kick going to Dominic Kasisi. He's only been a multiple goal kicker once this season, Kasisi. This for his 2nd of the quarter. Port Adelaide have kicked 4 unanswered goals in 15 minutes and lead by 18 points.
Well, there's not much noise coming from the Kangaroo supporters here, but and Harris has been removed because of those 2 efforts. But I tell you, the lounge rooms in Adelaide are alive.
Look, you know, in that defensive area, you just got to try and keep your feet. And Daniel Harris, that's the mortal sin, you would say, by falling onto the ball. Well done, Kasisi. Smart play to keep the ball in there also.
Seven goals to 3 in the second quarter.
I'll tell you what, John, we are talking premiership chances here with the Kangaroos. If you don't get the double chance, we know history says how hard it is to win a premiership. Gee, this is amazing.
Loney feeds it out, lower, Slung taking the kick. Ebax! Got the sit on Michael Ferrito and has been paid the mark.
Great grab.
Oh, absolutely. And it just needed that, didn't it? Needed something absolutely special at that moment. And I think he clunked it long enough. I think the call was probably the correct one. If you can put this one away, the Kangaroos are starting to look very, very much in trouble.
Ebert yet to trouble the scorer today. 33 goals on the season. Will go to work from outside 50. A little close to the man on the mark. Accuracy suffered. The mark taken by Drew Petrie.
Well, he should have known. He should have known his own ability then. If that was beyond him, he should have been looking for somebody else. That was a terrible kick.
Well, the fans getting a little restless here at the MCG. North Melbourne have surrendered a 19-point advantage to trail by 18 here, heading toward the major break. Power in the box seat, scoops it up, wheels around, looks out wide, was looking for Urquhart. Carlisle takes the mark. 30 seconds and counting. Peter Burgoyne. This will be disposal number 18, the most in the game. Brent Harvey and Petrie with 13 have most for North Melbourne. Daniel Motlop to Kane Corns. Well, happy to wind the clock down here, Port Adelaide. They did a lot of chasing in the first quarter. And they now find themselves with a good advantage at the major break. It's been a splendid second quarter. Port Adelaide kicked 7 goals 1 to 3 goals 2 from North Melbourne and reverse a 5-point quarter time deficit into an 18-point halftime lead. And is North Melbourne's hold on a top 4 spot just starting to unravel? We'll have more for you from the MCG right after this. Welcome back to the MCG. A 7-goal second quarter from Port Adelaide has seen them turn around a 19-point deficit in the first quarter to lead by 18 points at the major break. They have, at this stage, 7 goal kickers, including Kasisi and Gray with 2 apiece. Hale with 2 for the Kangaroos, but they have it all in front of them now, down by 18 points and with a top 4 spot on the line. We take a look at some of the numbers there. The hit-outs, impressively, Brogan and Lade have set a good foundation there, and Port Adelaide's tackle count suggests they're working a little harder.
Well, they are, but the contested possession is well up with the North Melbourne. It's a bit hard to understand that, but certainly the centre breaks for them in the latter part of that quarter gave them a head start. And after a very aggressive beginning to the game, which I thought put a back step for Port Adelaide, they've fought very hard, John, to get themselves back into this contest.
Well, we've spoken a lot about the talent that they have, and when they click, Port Adelaide, well, they can beat just about anybody. We haven't seen a lot of it this year, but the likes of Daniel Pearce and Peter Burgoyne, well, they're putting on a show here today. And Pearce 2 years ago was top 10 in the Brownlow medal. He's sort of gone off the boil a little, but when it's his day, well, he can carve teams up.
Well, and they're getting the ball to him today. I don't think he's been winning enough of his own possession, but as it's developed today, he's become a great receiver and certainly a great finisher, both in general play and around the goals. That was a massively good goal at a critical time in the game.
And Port Adelaide playing their first game at the MCG since last year's grand final. final, well, Peter Burgoyne has turned it on. He had 18 disposals in the first half, picking up where he left off last week against Melbourne when he had 37 disposals. And if we think there was some chance that he wouldn't be around next year, over the past 2 weeks, he's certainly put his hand up to play again.
And it's not as if he's got a poor opponent. Bradley Rawlings is one of the outstanding midfield controllers in the game. He's got a bit of the ball himself, but you just cannot allow Peter Burgoyne access to the ball in the way that he's getting it today.
And we're seeing now with a little bit of scoreboard pressure put on the Kangaroos, well, certainly their top 4 hopes, they start to just worry a little bit about that. They wanted to put Port Adelaide away early, led by 19 points in the first quarter. They kicked the first 3 goals, but now they had some chasing to do, and with a lot on the line, Dean Laidley's going to have to rev them up here at half-time.
Well, I reckon he got them going well in a game that obviously means a lot, but they were up and going at the start, John, in a way that they put their imprint on the game, and I thought they'd put them away. I thought in their own mind they'd actually put the opposition to bed, but they've just come back, and if there's not a massive uprising in the second half, they've got 3 goals to get back before they actually get in front of them. And the other opposition are playing well enough, with enough confidence now to make that task very, very difficult.
Brent Harvey's been good for the Kangaroos. It's the same old names. He has 13 disposals, the most by anyone for North Melbourne. They've got 6 goal kickers. They've shown enough in the first half to suggest they're certainly not out of this game, but they're going to have to lift the intensity.
No doubt, and he's been their lead man for the whole year. I don't think he's let them down in any portion of any game or any game overall, but certainly he's going to have to find some mates at the moment. They're not enough drivers. They weren't working hard at the finish to control their opponents. They're giving easy access. Well, I think they'd be pretty disappointed. They'll be on to a real sting at half-time from the coach.
Well, Dean Laidley will be laying down the law to them at the moment. Can they win? Who do you think might win from here? Port Adelaide leading by 3 goals.
I think Port Adelaide give themselves a real chance, but I think the incentives are just too strong. You'd expect Kangaroos to bounce back as they started the game and to complete it in the manner which everybody expected.
Well, David Parkin suggesting that North Melbourne will bounce back in the second half. There's some soul-searching going on in the rooms here at half-time, and we'll have more for you from the MCG right after this.
North Melbourne, they'll need more of that in the second half. Brent Harvey, 13 touches to half-time, but that half-time break, they trail Port Adelaide, upset looming by 18 points, Tony Shaw, and they'll be very disappointed with that second quarter. 7 goals to Port.
Oh, they were sensational, Port, and I think they just set up better. They didn't allow a loose man in defence like North Melbourne had in the first part. But, look, the clearances have been the problem. A couple of times in their forward line, to get forward of a defensive clearance like that and not run into anybody. And there's Daniel Harris. I picked that up before about Dominic Cassisi, not goal side. I think that might be showed a number of times in the when they review this game during the week.
It's happened a couple of times. Port Adelaide setups, we know the likes of Leyden that have got very good hands at the stoppages, but they need to have someone goal side or defensive side of the pack, because at the moment they're actually getting exposed in that area.
Well, it's all like Roden, Pearce, the Burgoynes have got good leg speed, so to get off there you have to play even 2 metres. You don't have to hold a player around the contest, because you know you can use other players to work around and maybe your defenders help you out, but you don't want them to get goal side as easy as they did then.
No, that'll be it's a bit of a coach killer. That'll be hard at half-time, I would have thought. Now, been some injuries. And it's a couple of important players for North Melbourne with injuries. The first one we look at here is Lee Harding. Now, he's coming off a knee reconstruction. We know that. He went down and he actually was up and jogging around at quarter time, but he hasn't come back on the ground. It's his left medial ligament. Now, that's anywhere between 2 and 6 weeks, which could be the season for Lee Harding, they say.
Well, it is. It's probably the lesser of the knee injuries, but, you know, there he is with his top on. It looks like he mightn't come back on. And here's Daniel Wells. Well, unlucky. It was Sammy Power. Looked like he fell across his leg. And we'll see his leg go out sideways, and you can just see it there. Well, that is medial ligament, the inside. And it means when you run in a straight line, Liam, I've had a couple of them, that when you try to turn, it just goes, and you've got no movement at all, no mobility.
Well, he's been re-strapped. He's back on the ground. Not sure you had quite the same lateral movement as Daniel Wells.
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the knee itself.
Now, it's going to be a big second half, obviously, for North Melbourne. They're shooting for a top 4 spot. I can't believe it.
Oh, look, well, I think I can believe it, because you know what? Port Adelaide have got 60 minutes to play. 60 minutes. You can go through some pain knowing that you've got the whole 6 months off. But look, I expect the Kangaroos to come back. I think they'll set up a bit different. They'll be a lot harder around the contest, where they dominated early in the first quarter. But by the second, the Port Adelaide side had equalled that up.
Well, the little blokes got on top, simple as that in that quarter. And, well, there'll be there's plenty of work to do in the second half here. There's no doubt. North Melbourne with plenty to play for. Port Adelaide, really, they're just basically going, they're in footy trip mode.
Well, they are at the moment. The other thing about, I think that Hale might have to have a go on the ruck, because I think Brogan and Lade are starting to dominate that area. Hamish McIntosh looks a bit proppy on that knee still, not having the right timing at the ruck. So they might have to throw Hale there, maybe McIntosh forward, Petrie forward, keep swapping around until they get some momentum.
Upset brewing here at, there might be another upset. Look at this score down at the Cattery, West Coast Eagles, 25, the Cats 21, unbelievable.
It is early though, it's only the first quarter, so, but it's a good effort, 4 points.
I'll tell you what, we had the upset last night, Fremantle, West Coast in front, Port Adelaide in front, the world's gone mad. This mob are going great guns. We see Tony McGuinness there talking to Dean Brogan, and North Melbourne with all the work in front of them in the second half. They trail Port Adelaide by 18 points.
Welcome back to the MCG. The lights are on under heavy skies. Rain is forecast a little later today. And in a tight, low-scoring affair, well, that could have an influence as well. Shannon Grant, a little nonplussed at the moment. Port Adelaide, oh, a brilliant second quarter. 7 goals 1 to 3 goals 2. After North Melbourne had kicked the first 3 goals of the game and were looking like they were going to put this away early, Port Adelaide have reeled them in and now lead by 18 points here at halftime. Well, lots of confusion. Port Adelaide backline at the moment. Nick Lower and Paul Stewart both calling for some numbers, because down into the pocket goes Lindsay Thomas all by himself. Now Stewart motions in that direction. Sean Burgoyne with the job there on Shannon Grant as we get underway in the third quarter. Peter Burgoyne for Daniel Pearce. So the usual suspects to Brogan. Running forward of the ball. Port Adelaide picking up where they left off there in the second quarter. That's a neat pass from Brogan. Kasisi, who kicked the last 2 goals of the game, is now within scoring range again.
Daniel, at 5 metres, please.
Well, Kasisi's season high is 2 goals, which came back in round 16 against the Crows. This time he wants to hand off. Motlop couldn't complete the mark. That's a let-off for North Melbourne. Urquhart puts the ball under his wing, stampedes up the ground, and the Kangaroos have got a chance now. Thomas going deep. Hale got away from Damon White, right in the box seat, and controls it well.
Well, after the initial thrust, which was a one-sided affair for the centre bounce, John going forward, there was a bit of real effort, the first I've seen for some time, for the Kangaroos to win it back. Used the ball with great run. That was a sensational kick to Hale. It went across into the corridor. Certainly no touch from his opponent, and it was a poor effort to defend it, but they've got him in the right spot directly in front. A goal at this point in this manner would be a terrific uplift for the team.
Goal kicker already at this end in the first quarter, a goal kicker in the second term as well. David Hale comes in to give the Kangaroos a great start to the third quarter. He makes no mistake.
Well, it was a massive turnover, wasn't it, the other end? Motlop should have marked the ball. It bounced off his chest. And then the rebound through Boomer Harvey, whose man Kasisi should have probably gone back and had a kick at goal, because it would have been his third and given him a good start. Just this kick here, I'm just worrying whether Damon White is the matchup at the moment on Hale, and I don't like that matchup at all. I don't know why they would have changed things when you had momentum at the end of the second quarter.
Well, he's a dangerous commodity, David Hale. He's now kicked 3 goals or more in 4 of his last 5 games. He's a difficult matchup. North Melbourne draw first blood in the second half, back to a 12-point spread. As Petrie climbs high, pumped it straight down to Brady Rawlings, and North Melbourne off and running again. Shannon Grant working against Sean Burgoyne. They've coughed it up. Port Adelaide looking to release some pressure. Pearce going backwards. Very neat Peter Burgoyne. Puts it out to the advantage here of Logan, trying to draw a free kick, getting nothing from the umpire. Matty Campbell retreats for Simpson. Little undecided. It's a stalemate. The surgeon just blocking his path at the moment. Now we've got Shannon Watt driving up the line.
Oh, well done.
All Port Adelaide. Brogan takes the mark after Alapati Carlisle withdrew from the contest. Marlon Motlop, centre of the ground, David Roden. Daniel Motlop the target deep, but they go to Corns instead on the 50-metre line beyond his distance. Hands back to Roden, who unloads from 48, and Port Adelaide get the quick reply as Roden kicks his third.
It was a great kick over the top, wasn't it, to get to Roden, and if you want it in the hands of somebody running into goal, no real angle, but he had to manoeuvre the ball under, and they've got the response to the first goal almost as quick as the one against them.
And Cassisi and Corns have both gone forward and been and probably should have had shots at goal, but unselfish. They have to, yeah. Well, Brent Harvey and also Daniel Wells have to know they've got to have the defensive side of their game also.
David Roden kicks his third goal. First time this year he's kicked 3 goals in a game. It equals his career high in game number 112. There's still plenty of time for him to improve on that. Port Adelaide get the reply. Brogan tried to work it to Peter Burgoyne. He went without it. Simpson feeds Daniel Wells. He's measuring it for Harvey. Lower, read it well. Charged off the half-back line now to Peter Burgoyne. Measures the pass. Logan the target. Did well. Good opposition there from Pratt, but Logan goes wide. Was looking for Marlon Motlop. Surgeon there as well. Back to Marlon Motlop. Quickly onto the left boot. Daniel Motlop, his cousin, can't fingertip the mark, but has it under control like a basketball. Threaded the needle to Roden, who couldn't control it. It was a play on call nonetheless.
Oh, you called it. It is like, but he doesn't even look at the ball. He's pat bouncing himself while he's wondering where the opposition are. But this is quite unbelievable to see this in Australian football.
Well, he's an exciting commodity, and so too is this man, David Roden.
Another
kicks the goal, a career high, 4 majors for Roden.
Well, we talked about the clearances in their forward line. Defensively, the Kangaroos are struggling. Look at this. Brogan's taken it out. Petrie doesn't go in the contest and able to handball like that. That's the 3rd goal they have kicked from a forward set play, and the Kangaroos have not related to having people goal side. David Roden, he is just on fire at the moment. 4th goal.
And the Petrie positioning to be outmanoeuvred, not good at all.
Well, Port Adelaide have kicked 8 of the last 10 goals here. They lead by 24 points, and a top 4 finish for the Kangaroos is looking decidedly shaky. Almost 6 minutes played in the 3rd quarter. The door opening up for Adelaide or Sydney, St Kilda even, to try and claim a top 4 finish. Shannon Grant wheels around. The pass is a good one.
Oh, good spoil.
Terrific work from Stewart, who came off second best. And the flying shot at goal, a minor score for Brent Harvey.
Well, I'd be pleased that, just going back a step, that Wells is back playing, but as you said, Wells has been taken back for the opposition, which is making it a bit harder, but they certainly haven't got Harding. Doesn't look like he's on the bench and available.
Sean Burgoyne worried off the kick, went straight to Simpson, forced the error. His pass, though, a little shabby. Carlisle went without it. Tough ball to be won. Gibson, hand pass. Wells in trouble, shakes the tackle. Almost in the back from Matthew Westhoff. Roden emerges with the ball.
Oh, he's having his time in the sun. Oh, too slow then, trying to do too much.
Drew Petrie supplies the tackle. Holding the ball is the call from umpire Justin Schmidt.
I reckon their work rate, though, Port Adelaide's been higher than North Melbourne since about halfway through the 1st quarter. A lot more of the ball, a lot more run.
McMahon into the pocket, keeps it alive intelligently, swinging around. Lindsay Thomas. Hale takes the mark, juggles over the line. It's out on the full.
Well, it's further to Parko's comment then. I reckon in the first 10 or 15 minutes it was a non-competitive effort by Port Adelaide, and I think North Melbourne have got themselves into a mindset it was just going to be one of those days, because since the intensity's been lifted by Port Adelaide, North just haven't been able to match them.
Damon White getting plenty of advice from the North Melbourne fans behind the fence. Went to Thurston, who was outnumbered 4-1. Shannon Grant hands over. Lockie Hansen. High ball, difficult to mark. Brogan out strongly, had his name on it.
Gee, he's having a game, isn't he? His clearance work has been sensational. Now he's stemming the flow, going back a loose man in defence.
Port Adelaide clear the defensive 50. Sean Burgoyne has it on a string at the moment. Hand pass for Kane Corns, running past Carlisle. Daniel Motlop, the target, did that well. He's got Justin Westhoff deep in the goal square. That's where he's heading. May even be going for home. Motlop from 65 has produced a miracle.
Well, when he kicked it, Anthony, I reckon the only person on the ground he reckoned was going to go through was him. They were all running back like very hungry dogs to get hold of something that never actually landed short of the line. It was an amazing kick on turn, and not that he had to run 15 metres. He just took a couple of steps and swung into it. What a magnificent skill to kick. And again, he didn't have to think too much about it. I think he's so good on the set shots, but he's great on those that he doesn't have to think about and swings into it. Marvellous effort. Marvellous.
Multiple goal kicker again today, Daniel Motlop. He kicked 5-2 last week. Dean Laidley's team are in a hole here by 29 points. We've played 9 minutes in the third quarter. And the Kangaroos need a lift. Good job. Mark taken there by Aaron Edwards, who plays on quickly. Hale works to the front, muscled his way away from Damon White. That's a great effort.
Well, this is the matchup. This is the one that they get enough supply. Damon White, I don't know why Thurston's or Alipati Carlisle haven't gone to Hale, and a little bit of to-do behind play. Oh, Brogan's not happy about that.
Well, can we just say something about the Edwards kick, because he elected to play on. He only had a reasonable short time, but he whacked it in exactly the right place for his teammate to get access to the ball. It was a terrific kick from Edwards.
Kicked the first goal of the quarter, David Hale. His team trails by 29 points. They need to take every opportunity presented to them, and he has sprayed it across the face.
That hurts.
Well, it does, because he was the one you're going to rely on. He's the one who's supposed to be able to kick them, got into perfect position and didn't deliver. Not good. It's not a good sign all round at the moment for North Melbourne.
Loney restarts to Carlisle. 10 minutes played in the third quarter. And Pearce, Burgoyne in fact, with it on a string. Justin Westhoff goes across the front of the pack to take the mark.
That is the future, right? Oh, no, there's a free kick. Brogan's been sucked in behind play. Farida, we'll just have to see, was it in the marking contest or after Westhoff took a great mark?
Farida pokes it inside the attacking 50. Up high, couldn't complete it there, was Corey Jones. Peter Burgoyne using the corridor to his brother Sean. Short pass, Kane Corns didn't hit the target. Roden in support though. Chain of hand passes to Sean Burgoyne, who evades what would have been a hefty knock. And out wide, Justin Westhoff. Thurston's has gone forward. He's the target, takes the mark.
Great usage all the way down the ground. That's exceptional. And I tell you, if Petrie had hit him, he might have been not playing the rest of the final.
Yeah, good point. There's Damon. Now here's Damon White. Oh, that's a needler, and he's groggy. He's coming off the ground in the hands of the trainers up the other end. Well, the man who's got the ball now kicking a goal, Toby Thurston's, he would probably be the man who has to go back after he has a shot.
Kicked 2 goals so far this season, both a fortnight ago, and he makes no mistake. Port Adelaide lead by 34 points.
Well, it doesn't matter what the Kangaroos appear to do, and they've got into good position to score a couple of goals. Port Adelaide are doing it better on the rebound. That usage right through the middle of the ground. Oh, that hurts. A really nasty hit. Really nasty hit.
And as soon as that goal was kicked, Toby Thurston's, the runner's gone straight to him and said, son, I know you kicked a beautiful goal, but just go up the back until we get Damon White back on his feet.
He thought it.
Toby Thurston's
It's a cruel game, isn't it? It's a cruel game.
He's worked so hard to get out of there and get down the other end. He doesn't want to be down there. Now he's back on the job.
Well, he's proven he can play at both ends now. He may as well go back. Tick that box. And Port Adelaide, who kicked the last 4 goals of the second quarter, have kicked the last 4 here in the third as well. And only separating those 8 is one for David Hale after 90 seconds in this term. Ferrito eludes the tackle of Daniel Motlop. The Kangaroos with plenty on their plate now. They're down by 34 points. Shannon Grant takes the mark. Up the line, Edwards.
Who is now Thurston's man, correct?
Slow ball movement, isn't it? Slow ball movement. You've got a tall marking option up there who's been very dangerous.
Edwards inside the attacking 50. Hale came, so too Brogan. Harvey trying to draw a free kick. Carlisle to Loney. Kane Corn slung off it. Brogan involved again. Slow hand pass. Robbie Gray going nowhere. Great tackle from Corey Jones. Picked up by Brady Rawlings. Port with numbers scurrying. Oh! Logan, ball in dispute. Logan can't find it for the moment. Surgeon does and escorts it over.
Where has this competitive spirit been for Port Adelaide all year? Yeah. Does it take the last game of the year when you know you've got 6 months spell to get into this level?
What about Matt Campbell's lead? Was Matt Campbell, and went right up over the top to try and make something out of nothing. Nearly did.
Roden, short pass. Thurstons can come out wide. Robbie Gray's all alone. Edwards will try and corral him. Gray,
well done.
Nice pass for Justin Westhoff, who dropped the mark. Needed to do a little better there. Shannon Watt comes in. Matthew Westhoff helps out his brother. Lockie Hansen supplies the tackle. Harris retreating. Ferrito, intelligent work to McIntosh, and now North Melbourne can rebound. Harvey with support. It's McMahon.
Good chase.
Edwards back to Harvey. Corey Jones needed help. Harvey was on the ground, but he'll do. Now Brady Rawlings. Nice pass. Finds Hale on the lead. This is McMahon. Has a man out wide. Heads in that direction now. Strong mark. Despite the presence of Marlon Motlop, Shannon Grant has pulled it down.
Well, how good's Harvey? I mean, how good is his work rate? He's keeping them round about. He was involved 4 times between the wing and half forward to finally help set up this attempt on goal. I don't know how he continues to run with the ferocity that he does.
Shannon Grant, a goal kicker in the second quarter at the other end of the ground.
Remember, they're playing one short, 2 in a sense of the rotations because Harding won't be back, I would think, and we should check with Pickers on that one.
Grant from 35 out has missed to the near side.
Couple of goals, just not going their way.
Just further on that point, Parko, that he hasn't reappeared after half time, Lee Harding, so he certainly won't put any more play again this afternoon, and certainly he's in doubt for you reckon the next couple of weeks.
I know it's not great that they didn't convert a couple of times, David, but the bigger issue is the style of play that they're playing isn't allowing them to get a run on. That's what's a horrible sign, I think, at the moment for the Kangaroos.
Chance for Shannon Watt.
Got to take some risks.
McIntosh.
You take
to Wells.
You mean the risk to move the ball
quicker,
and to go to one-on-ones if we have to,
Wells, intelligent pass, finds Simpson. Handball over the top, a slow one.
Well, he
with
tried
problems
to.
for Rito. Tackled by the fellow number 11, Marlon Motlop, holding the ball. Pierce off and running to
now he's dropped
Corns.
hold on.
Yeah, he called the advantage, and then it wasn't advantage. He's bringing it back.
I thought Ferrito got a hand or fist to that ball.
Yeah, so I thought it was a bit tough.
Well, they're just so flat-footed at the moment.
They are, aren't they?
And Port Adelaide have forced them to kick it over the man on the mark most of the second, since the second half of the first quarter. But gee, they're very reactive at the moment.
Logan out for Carlisle on the lead. Long way from his defensive post. Attacking side of centre. Drives into the pocket. Brendan Lade comes out with a strong mark against Hansen.
Yeah, well, that's not a great matchup if we're talking body strength. I would even think Ferrito could go back. He hasn't done it on ball or forward, but just a stronger body than young Hansen, who we know is still learning the game. He's done well this year, but no way could he get round Lade then.
It just got removed, didn't it?
Lade looking for his first goal of the afternoon. Looks good off the boot. And Brendan Lade seals the deal.
Well, when you want it to be 10-10 for the day opposite you, and the opposition have kicked 15-5, it adds a bit of insult to injury. What they've done round the goal face today, both from set shots and from running shots, has been absolutely super. I mean, 8-9 for North Melbourne at the same time is probably the normal conversion rate, but the opposition not only getting it in there more often, they're doing real damage when they get it inside their 50.
Well, David Hale kicked the first goal of the quarter. It was back to a 12-point spread, but Port Adelaide with 5 goals in 14 minutes, and Lade's got a new partner.
Yeah, well, they had to make a matchup. I thought it might have been Ferrito, but they've gone with Shannon Watt on Lade. I think that's a better matchup.
Cassisi clears the centre for Port Adelaide again, and Ebert joining in. Justin Westhoff on the lead. Ebert looking a little shorter, and Robbie Gray needed courage. He had plenty.
I tell you what, this man, Robbie Gray, he nearly turned this game around in the first quarter. He kicked 2 goals from free kicks when he started in defence. And look at the courage here. You don't know what's coming there. Oh, I think this game is nearly done and dusted. They're going to have to turn a lot of things around, North Melbourne, in the last quarter to get back in this game.
Career best of 4 goals for Robbie Gray. Played only 5 games last year with calf problems. He's looking for his 3rd this afternoon. Port Adelaide lead by 44 points and are looking like winners.
Well, when he started, I thought he was another Rebirth, just a forward lead-up, medium-sized, very strong overhead for a player of his height. But he's become a very versatile player, as you suggested, started down back, and no doubt that movement that you said early through the first quarter, Tony, has made a significant difference in terms of the 3 goals he's now got. We know he can do that very well with great courage going back to take the mark in the first place.
6 goals in 16 minutes here in the 3rd quarter from Port Adelaide may have put North Melbourne's final 4 hopes to rest. Justin Westhoff into the ruck now for Port Adelaide against McIntosh, and Cassisi on the bottom of it.
And it's still been that way. I mean, Cassisi didn't break through, but they've been first on the ball even when they're handing it back to the umpire. Good sign.
I don't like Justin Westhoff in the ruck. You've got a talented forward. You wouldn't want him to do a kneel. So, the Lade's been pushed up. Good to see.
Surgeon like a dog with a bone at the moment against Matty Campbell. Corey Jones in strongly. Simpson trying to lift his team. So too Shannon Grant. Lonely with the loose ball. Logan off to Surgeon. Port Adelaide running again. Well, they're an offensive juggernaut at the moment, Port Adelaide. Thurston's is deep, so too Hansen. North Melbourne happy to rush it through. Margin out to 45 points. McIntosh with problems. Showed enough of it to Sean Burgoyne, who's pinched it. Now Daniel Motlop, will he kick one from here earlier? He's going back for seconds. He got the same result. Oh, they're on fire.
Well, you'd think we were leading into the 2007 finals with the Port Adelaide we've seen right here today. It's like the game they bought to beat Geelong at Geelong about round 18. Yeah, this is absolutely fantastic. Worked hard to get the ball back that wasn't theirs, and he's just ambled in and then let it go. It's done a bit from right to left, and another one.
It just shows you how Hamish McIntosh is a long, long way off the speed of the game at the moment with that intercept.
Well, Port Adelaide have their highest scoring 3rd quarter of the year. They've kicked 7 unanswered goals in 18 minutes. They lead by 51 points. And North Melbourne have been shocked here. Well, they've tried a lot of things, North Melbourne, but it's just not working. Surgeon emerges with it again. Port Adelaide on the attack. Daniel Motlop the target. Numbers against him, though. Daniel Pratt cleans up for North Melbourne.
Oh, look at the kick.
Cassisi chopped it out. Sean Burgoyne has a loose man. He's back for more. Toby Thurston's wheels around one player, goes to work, and Port Adelaide have now kicked 8 without reply.
Tell you what, if you're a Port Adelaide supporter, you'd be asking the question, where has this been?
Well, you would be, Anthony, but they've dismantled. They really have dismantled. I mean, it's not just been a struggling win. 20 minutes of pretty ordinary football, and from that point on, the most dominant side, the individual players collectively as a team, the method that they're displaying, the finishing that they've been able to conjure up has just been terrific to watch despite the scoreline.
One area of real concern is the centre bounce clearances, how Port are just relaying the ball by hand. The 1-2-3 handballs getting out in the space. They have smashed North Melbourne in the centre bounces in this third quarter.
Well, they kicked 8 goals against North Melbourne in the prelim final last year at AAMI
Here's another
Stadium,
one.
and they've kicked 8 against them here today. Justin Westhoff. And a free kick for holding off the ball against Gibson. Port Adelaide will have a shot at a 9th straight goal.
Well, he's reached that stage. He wouldn't want to be going to a final with the form that he's had too. He's absolutely lost his way today. That was a desperate effort to stop the bloke getting to the contest when it wasn't necessary.
Well, I reckon they'll go and review this tape, North Melbourne. They'll probably throw the tape out, boys.
Yeah, I
They've
think
been terrible at the centre square as well.
Liam, I would. You don't need this before finals. I think they've been competitive normally.
Matthew Westhoff looking to get in on the act, cannons it into the post.
And not only that, I mean, if you look back, they've got to come up against, well, they're not going to come up against the best midfield in the competition now because they've blown their opportunity. You'd think that they'll end up, obviously, outside of the top 4 now, North Melbourne. And really, on a performance like this, it's hard to say that they justify a top 4 spot.
They could tumble as low as 7th, depending on the other results. So that could even entail a trip into state in the first week of the finals, and Port Adelaide added again. Pearce just outside the 50. Wobbles it forward. It's all happening for them, but that was asking a little too much.
Yeah, it was a little bit.
It started to wobble back in the right direction, didn't it?
Well, the highest scoring third quarter in the AFL this year was Geelong's 10 goals 4 against the West Coast back in round 13. And Port Adelaide are closing in on that, and still with more than 4 minutes left until three-quarter time. Rawlings, close quarters to Corey Jones. Quick kick to the advantage here of Lindsay Thomas. He's off and running with good speed. Justin Westhoff can't get him. Thomas, push taking the kick, a little too deep for Hale. Lurking at the back is Gavin Urquhart. Might see it again from Shannon Grant. Couldn't find a way past. The Kangaroos on the retreat. They're just losing their way at the moment. Sam Power driven into the ground.
Great tackle, wasn't it?
It was Jacob Surgeon, and this is Peter Burgoyne on the ball. Marlon Motlop calling for it, but Surgeon gets involved again. Laid the target as they go forward. All North Melbourne, though. Gibson comes out strongly ahead of Matthew Westhoff and can use Corey Jones. Well, North Melbourne are shell-shocked at the moment. Edwards plays on, going deep. Hale the target once more, had plenty to beat. Brogan got a hand on it. Paul Stewart a little high. Kasisi somehow manufactured a kick. It went to Stewart. Now Kane Corns over the top for Peter Burgoyne. Well, it is all happening for Port Adelaide. Even the bounce of the ball is coming their way. Thurstons back to Pearce. Not a lot on offer in the attacking 50 at the moment. But he's going to try and find Westhoff, outnumbered 2-1. And Gibson, with the support there of Shannon Watt, able to clear the danger zone. Sam Power. Slow hand pass over the top. Petrie with problems. Port Adelaide are all over North Melbourne, but that's a push in the back.
Yeah, look, even that stanza of play just shows the pressure of Port and the way that the Kangaroos cannot get through the lines.
Urquhart, quick hand pass for Brent Harvey, who's going sideways. Mark taken by Daniel Pratt. He's off and running from 65. Squares the ball. Carlisle with a big fist. Corns running to it. Likewise, Harris. Corns. Well, now Harris has stolen it back for North Melbourne. On the lead, Hale. He takes the mark.
Well, at least Harris kept on line, didn't he? Then he held his line and eventually ended up winning the ball. And his delivery in was pretty good to Hale. But, oh, gosh. And the freedom that Port Adelaide can play with now, with a margin like that on the scoreboard, you can take any risk in any part of the game and you're not going to be condemned for it. Whereas The Kangaroos just can't find anything. There is nothing individually or collectively that's happening that's going to give them any encouragement, I would have thought, for now and for the rest of the weeks coming.
Well, Hale kicked the first goal of this quarter 25 minutes ago. Port Adelaide rattled on 8, and now he breaks the drought.
Well, I just saw Aaron Edwards come from the field, and it's been a pretty ordinary day for Aaron Edwards. He's had 7 possessions, but hasn't looked like hitting the scoreboard. And it was just here, look, the bounce didn't go their way. We said they've had some lucky bounces. On that occasion, Daniel Harris, yeah, good vision, just comes back into the corridor. Look, Liam Pickering said it before about whether you look at this tape, you look at certain things, but I wouldn't hang a long time on this in a review.
David Hale is celebrating his 100th in style. 4 goals for him, but his team trails by 53 points.
This is where they've been belted, John. You know, absolutely belted out of the centre bounces.
Again, Justin West off to do the ruck work against Petrie. Simpson finds it on the ground. Quick kick out of the congestion. A little too deep, though, for Corey Jones. Is outnumbered here. Stewart kept his line. Now with the support of Logan, they will clear. Peter Burgoyne looking for Marlon Motlop, who doubles back. Almost taken the mark. Elected to let it bounce and now puts on the quicks. As he goes forward looking for Matthew Westop. It spills to Ebert. Has a man over the top or can march it himself. Well, unselfishly went to Lade. Lade is going to be holding the ball in the goal square.
That's the second time, Brett, and it's 50-metre penalty probably against Lade, but the second time Brett Ebert has shown unselfish. He's been unselfish, but you're a goal kicker, son.
He should have given it the first time he thought about it, not the second time.
You blokes know exactly how it works. The big fellas have to think a little bit longer when you give them those ones.
It's a lot longer down to drop the ball, isn't it, Liam?
Our credit to Daniel Pratt as well, who summed it up beautifully. This is Wells going forward for Corey Jones. Ball pitches in front of him. Now he has a man available, Petrie. Well, he's taken the mark in the almost identical spot to where Hale kicked the last goal.
This is 2 in a row. Long time since 2 in a row. Might be the start of 8 to them in the last quarter. We've had plenty of last quarter teams turn it round and kick 8 or 9 goals. The Carlton against Port Adelaide. Port Adelaide have got a record of having a lot of scores against them in the last quarter.
Well, don't go there for the Port Adelaide fans, but North Melbourne's record is 44 points down at 3/4 time. And they still prevailed. This is important. It wobbles off the boot. Cannons into the post through Petrie. Can't finish the job. And with 1/4 remaining, it is Port Adelaide with a 52-point lead. North Melbourne's final 4 hopes hang by a thread. They'll need a miracle with Port Adelaide 18-8, leading North Melbourne 9-10 at the MCG. Port Adelaide have had plenty of fight in them here today. They've kicked 15 goals to 5 after quarter time. If you joined us late, North Melbourne kicked the first 3 goals of the game and led by 19 points. But with 1/4 to play, it's Port Adelaide leading by 52. David Roden, a career best 4 goals. Gray has 3. And Hale, 4 goals too for North Melbourne. Let's go to a former North Melbourne player, Liam Pickering, on the boundary line.
Well, disappointing afternoon, obviously, for North Melbourne, but it's been the little blokes of Port Adelaide that have really worried them this afternoon. They've been able to obviously win the ball at the stoppages, but been able to get forward and kick goals. Daniel Motlop, he has just got some freakish ability, and any time he gets near goals, he's dangerous. He kicked 2 of those goals throughout the course of that quarter, and look at this sort of stuff. The North Melbourne indecision, very disappointing, and the little bloke's getting on the end of it again. Ebert came into it in that quarter. Burgoyne, every time he touches the ball, it's class, we know that. But even Toby Thurston's got forward and kicked a goal, so... had a very good quarter, no doubt about that, Port Adelaide. A lot of work, North Melbourne. They need to think seriously about what they're going to do in the last quarter, I should say, to be able to build into the finals, if you like.
Well, this was Dean Laidley at 3/4 time, and he left the players to their own devices largely here, Tony.
That's what happened, John, and normally they split up to their specialist coaching. Did not happen at all.
Well, this is very unlike Dean Laidley's North Melbourne. They're a team who produce on milestone games and when there's plenty on the line. The top 4 spot was on the line. Shannon Grant's 300th game, David Hale's 100th, but they have been lost after quarter time.
Well, one of the significant, you'd say, matchups in this game from the go has been Rawlings asked to close Peter Burgoyne down, who got back into good form last week. Now, Rawlings has had 17 and been one of their highest possession getters. Peter Burgoyne at this stage has had 32. And to allow Peter Burgoyne 32 possessions is almost committing suicide.
Backing up after 37 disposals, 7 clearances last week. Underway in the final quarter, North Melbourne would have to set a club record to come from behind and win this game. So they are set to tumble down the ladder. Rawlings, now Wells. On the retreat, trying to kick around the body to Matt Campbell. Thurston's there. Wells for Rawlings. Now Gibson, caught on his wrong foot. Ebert outsized here against Ferrito. Made the contest though and won it back. Urquhart from behind, a lively customer, but Daniel Pearce has got some skills as well. Tries to thread the needle, might work to the advantage of Sean Burgoyne, or putting his body on the line, Matt Campbell. That's what the coach needs. Hanson on the retreat. Shannon Watt, Daniel Wells about to be run down by Roden, evades the tackle, now looks for Ferrito. Ball pitches just beyond him. He's got Matthew Westhoff to contend with, stays with it. Manufactured a kick to Petrie. Brogan got a touch on it, but gave away a free kick in the process.
Well, Daniel Ferrito, the ball's just not running his way. He was beaten by Ebert in a one-on-one, and then the ball just ran around in a circle and Westhoff tackled him. Just having one of those days.
That move hasn't worked.
No, he's a defender.
He's a defender, yeah. Put him back there and run him into some form.
Petrie just forced to kick and hope up to the half-forward line. Hale caught underneath it. Cassisi getting back. Simpson about to claim him. Just sweating off him then. And Corey Jones dragged over the boundary line by Lower, who's been in the wars today. Nick Lower.
49 tackles to 39. You'd just be thinking Port Adelaide were going to play finals.
Hale over the back of Brogan. Here's Brady Rawlings wrapped up by Cassisi. Stewart with strength, couldn't shrug the tackle. Tangle of arms and legs will need a bounce. We've played 2 minutes.
They've got a couple of players, haven't they, Port Adelaide? Stewart, Logan, Surgeon. They're pretty tough body. They're hard at it.
Brogan wins the tap. Shark by Rawlings. Lower again getting a piece of the action though. Marlon Motlop, Cassisi, Peter Burgoyne. Oh, did that well. Kick, not his best effort though, and it set it up there and allowed Daniel Pratt to come in.
It was went 60 metres laterally, and it set up long enough for about 8 blokes to get there and toss the corners to who's going to take it. Wasn't a good decision, that one.
Pratt unloads from 55, good distance, but not the accuracy. It's a minor score.
Well, I needed that one, Tony. They need to get one through early to give them a bit of a lift. It's been just a struggle to get it in and a struggle to get it through the goals.
2 goals 6 since half-time for the Kangaroos.
Yeah, not good enough. And Peter Burgoyne, the last 2 weeks, he's just shown again that he wants to play at this club. There won't be any talk of transfer or trading, I don't think.
Loney finds Brogan.
He's been great today too.
Pearce has Logan available, who can look for Sean Burgoyne, who got gold side of McMahon, takes the mark. Plays on to Ebert inside the 50, squares the ball up. Motlop will be at the target. Over the back, pinned on the boundary line, went for the impossible goal.
Oh, free kick.
And a free kick has been found going to Port Adelaide's Toby Thurston.
It was totally and utterly unnecessary. Young Hanson just lost his way and decided in an undisciplined way to give up on the contest. The ball had dropped. He needed to get on with the business of winning the ball.
The other thing, I think Scotty McMahon, that working him in the fair, I don't think he's a defender either.
No doubt.
Well, Thurston's with a chance to equal his career best of 3 goals in a game. Been used mostly as a defender this year. Went forward and kicked 2 goals against Collingwood 2 weeks ago. Now he's kicked 3 here against North Melbourne, and the lead is out to 57.
Yeah, well, the effort by Motlop actually to keep it in here. I thought he was just taking it wide to make the angle more difficult for him to put it away. It didn't sit in the manner which he required it to, but he got a free kick on the end of the
It just shows
square.
the freedom the modern player's got, hasn't it? His silky skills. Mark Williams to be sitting up going, oh, he's kicked goals like that before, so you allow him to do it. He would have been dragged 10, 15 years ago.
So, Tony, you're suggesting he didn't centre the ball to a person in a better position?
Well, I don't know, but just the laconic style, even that, if you're a coach, you say, come on, you've got to be aggressive or involved in the game. It's just magic to watch. I love it.
Brogan to Peter Burgoyne to Logan. Again, Port win the clearance. McMahon with a fist of it. Good intensity there. Simpson hands over to Daniel Wells. Harvey on the lead. Lower comes out strongly with a fist, though. Got it to Carlisle. Back to Logan. He's been busy. Disposal number 21 for him. Lower on the boundary line. Had trouble finding it. Retreats now for Cassisi. The numbers behind the ball. Alapati Carlisle to Peter Burgoyne.
Another shocking kick.
Dangerous kick once more. Paul Stewart looking to bail him out. Strong body there from Lindsay Thomas. Kept it in the area.
Well done, Paul Stewart. He's hurt himself here, I think. He ran at that with a shocking kick. He was on, and he had to make a contest to keep the ball in there, and he is hurting.
Well, he's definitely one from Port Adelaide who's playing for his future. Didn't play a game last year after a shoulder reconstruction in the pre-season. 11 games this season, putting his body on the line. Loney, another one who's perhaps playing for a contract. Kane Corns have done this well to Ebert. Sean Burgoyne the target. Look at that.
Isn't that great play?
Beautiful.
They have smashed the Kangaroos from those clearances all day.
Just beautiful work out with their hands, wasn't it, Tony, to get the ball out, and they brought it back through the corridor bit by bit, and their usage really all over the ground and through the goals has been first rate. So it's the sort of usage that we've grown to understand will always come from.
I go back to Dean Brogan. I think Hamish McIntosh, he's got to have a good look at himself coming into a fight. I know he's had injuries, but he looks a mile off the speed at the moment.
No doubt.
Sean Burgoyne hasn't kicked a goal for a month. This is well within range. He makes no mistake. Port Adelaide have kicked 20.
Well, it was just, they've done it all day. There's quick handball from the spot, and here's Sean Burgoyne, a very talented player. I love seeing this. I don't like seeing him go to the bench. And, Scotty McMahon, he had no idea about what he was doing. I know the ball was travelling too quick, so...
But why did he have a hand on in the first place? He's wandering around a metre off him all the way. He has no idea what he's going to do if he hasn't got touch.
I don't think he's a defender at all.
No, he's not.
Sean Burgoyne becomes the 10th Port Adelaide player to kick at least a goal today. And their margin is 63 points over North Melbourne, and Logan has them going forward inside their attacking 50 again. Thurston's almost marked that. Gibson with a hand pass. Now Wells has Petrie. Hands over to the run of Daniel Pratt. Nice pass looking for Hale, who charged at it. Now he's going to centre the ball. Surgeon there for Port Adelaide. Getting into his back a little was Lindsay Thomas. Ebert went without it. This is Corns putting his body on the line, and Port Adelaide away again. Carlisle couldn't reel in the hand pass at his bootlaces. Urquhart out wide. Chance again for Thomas. Hands over to Shannon Grant, who hasn't had a lot to cheer about in game number 300. Centering kick for Hale. They've got Justin Westhoff down at full back now. He's played full forward, full back, and the ruck. This is Boomer Harvey bending it back, but even he can't produce the magic today.
Gee, what about Mark? Is Westhoff down there full time? He might be just trying to teach him something. No, the game's done and dusted. Pretty good coaching, I reckon, just to show him what it's like to be a forward when the ball's coming the other way.
Hold there. Well.
That's Port Adelaide to Surgeon. Now Kane Corns, disposal 26. Only Peter Burgoyne with 36 has more. Pratt unable to reel it in. Damon White getting into his back. No whistle forthcoming.
It's a good call, John, because it was. He was definitely pushed in the back.
This is Port Adelaide's first game at the MCG since the grand final last year, where everybody said they were scarred Well, they just love playing.
They've won 7 of their last 9 coming into this game at the MCG, but when you disgrace yourself at a venue, sometimes you don't get invited back. But they have turned it on today. Their highest score this year, Port Adelaide, they kicked 24-14 against Essendon at the Telstra Dome back in round 7.
Right there, Sean. No, that's fine.
That's in some danger.
So this is a story, boys. This is what's happened all day. Look, the confusion, the indecision from Pratt on this occasion. It's been just sort of typical of North Melbourne all afternoon.
Matthew Westhoff, best position, crunched by McIntosh in tandem with Petrie out of bounds.
Well, if you walked in the ground now, Pickers, you'd wonder who was playing in the final series, wouldn't you?
Well, I'll tell you right, if you looked at body language, you'd wonder that.
Yep, exactly.
Big wake-up call for North Melbourne with the finals upon us. It's Farito. It's going for distance. Kane Corns is there against Boomer Harvey.
Well done.
It's been a tremendous battle.
Oh.
He's acknowledged.
So, but if you try and handball down the line and you've got pressure inside, what could Kane Corns do then, David?
Nothing else other than what he did.
I think the umpire, Smith, just thought, well, you didn't try and handball or keep it in play, but that's all you can do when you're under pressure like that.
Urquhart. High ball. Hailed the target, got rid of Thurston's. Justin Westhoff, though, prevented him from taking the mark. Sam Power, Shannon Grant with a chance to kick a goal in game 300. Not a lot to cheer about, but there's his second.
Well, he might remember the game for the 2 goals, but you'll want to forget the result.
Sammy Powell just out. That's probably one of the first contests they've won at ground level in their forward line, where they could release the ball without any pressure. And it is late in this game, of course, but they haven't thrown it in. And Shannon Grant, well, he's been a sensational player. It's a great milestone, but he won't look back on this with great memories.
Shannon Grant kicked the first goal for North Melbourne at that end in the second quarter. Does so again here, but the margin is 57. Port Adelaide's biggest ever win over North Melbourne, 87 points. That was in the prelim final last year as Logan has them going forward again. Matthew Westhoff under pressure there from Shannon Watt. Couldn't take the mark. Now has to evade his teammate in Daniel Motlop as well. He's trying to draw a free kick. Gibson poked it out the back. Pearce tried to win a free kick as well, and now out of bounds.
Well, the only thing that I think North Melbourne are getting out of this game, John, are injuries.
Well, the other thing that is a good sign for him that Daniel Wells has come back on.
That's true.
He
He might have been gone, yeah.
Ebert got it from Peter Burgoyne. Sells the dummy. Works back onto the left boot. Good distance from outside 50 in the goal square. Unable to mark it and through for a minor score.
I asked you, Tony Shaw, before the game if the 39.5 point head start to Port Adelaide was paying $21. I think I said to you, you should have a little something on that.
Well, no, I think you said you wouldn't look at it at all. Gee, you'd turn that around.
No, I did. I certainly did. But just been a comprehensive victory this afternoon by Port Adelaide. The other team that will be actually very happy about this result today is Fremantle. It means they go back to the 3rd pick in the draft.
And Port Adelaide, after winning by 78 points last week against Melbourne, they only come up with another big result. And oh, what could have been, considering that they have lost 7 games this year by 2 goals or less. I know Fremantle have set a world record in giving up 3/4 time leads this year, but Port Adelaide looking for their 7th win of the season, and having lost another 7 by 2 goals or less, they could quite easily have been in the playoffs.
Well, John, just as you were talking there, didn't that was the whole game in one stanza where Michael Farito has kicked into the man on the mark because of indecision with what he was going to do. That was just that whole game in a nutshell.
Petrie sharks the tap. Now a chance for Harris to clear. Indiscriminate with the kick, though. Toby Thurston's takes the mark. He's looking for Marlon Motlop. Pushed Harris out of the way. Wobbles it forward. Robbie Gray couldn't take the mark. Sam Power with it now for North Melbourne. Again Harris. Driving for distance, and this time hits the target in David Hale. Shannon Grant calling for it against Kane Corns and joining Insurgent. Ball trickles to the back. Harvey intelligently to his own advantage. Cassisi right there, though, takes them both on.
Oh, Shannon Grant said, yeah, you could see him on the ground, was that head high. Let's have a look. Well, just holding the jumper, but it was in play, this one here. Yeah, just went over his shoulder.
Justin Westhoff in the ruck. Damon White feeds it to Peter Burgoyne. Disposal number 41. White drives Port Adelaide clear. Alapati Carlisle with the flight of the ball. Ebert measures the pass. Did a good job to elude Petrie and finds Matthew Westhoff.
Tell you what, Brett Ebert's played nearly as a midfielder today.
Motlop at the back. Couldn't get a run at it. And the ball over the line. And a free kick going to North Melbourne.
Well, desperately are trying to find an individual, a matchup, a method of play, something that's come out of this game for North Melbourne. Can't find one positive aspect.
Which is amazing when you know that this club's so competitive.
Yeah.
Well, they've got some wounds to lick ahead of next week's finals. Here's Pearce. Matt Campbell right there with him. Lost control of it. So did Motlop. Gave it to Harris instead of the handball, really. Gibson got it when he didn't really need it. Going Thomas for Harris. Going sideways for Lockie Hansen. Shannon Watt working hard for him. Carlisle goes with him. So that's not on. Corey Jones lunging. Went without it. Beat Thurston to the recovery, though. Nice hand pass as well. It opens up now for North Melbourne as they go forward. Cassisi, a good strong body there against the dangerous Harvey. Stops, props, and then hands it back to Hansen. Running past Thomas. Harvey looks for him again. Lindsay Thomas one way, back the other. Kick a little too deep for David Hale. Mark taken by Justin Westhoff, and 50 against Corey Jones.
Did you see, guys, did you reckon that was just indicative of North Melbourne today? Brent Harvey was motioning to Lindsay Thomas to run. He wanted a handball receive. He actually nearly had to force him into getting past.
Yeah. I still say I go back to Ferrito 5 minutes ago when he kicked to the man on the mark off halfback, where you normally got numbers and somewhere you can use the ball. Yep, it hasn't been great.
Almost 17 minutes played in the final quarter. Damon White indiscriminate with the kick, running back with the flight of the ball. Aaron Edwards trying to get some game time ahead of the finals. His pass, half volleyed by Daniel Pratt. Urquhart overran it. Pearce sells the dummy. Now measures the pass for Daniel Motlop. He spills a chest mark. Controlled it with his foot on the ground. And what a hand pass for Daniel Pearce. A bag of tricks from Daniel Motlop, who's now apologising to Aaron Edwards.
How good was that? He's dropped the mark. And here it is. He's dropped the mark. Aaron Edwards looked like... And he's held the ball with the back of his foot. Oh, I've never seen that before.
And the hand pass as well.
There it is. Now... He stopped him from taking the ball away by using it to the back of his foot.
Ferrito taken down. Good body work from Marlon Motlop, who put it on the line there and came off second best. The ball ends with Tom Logan.
He's had a great game, Tommy Logan. He would have had about 4 or 5 centre-bounce clearances. Strong body. I don't know what his kicking's like, but how good was Motlop Dave?
Fantastic. That's young Motlop. He's got a reasonable sort of body. I don't think he has the fitness and run yet in it, but he can play the game. And young Logan, he's a tough cookie. I love his courage. He's just been at it all the time. And I hope he's got a future. He deserves it.
Had 3 games with Brisbane. He's played 36 now with Port Adelaide. Hasn't kicked a goal for 9 weeks, Tommy Logan. But Port Adelaide are having that type of day.
Well, that's fantastic. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. About how many players? Just about the whole lot have lined up for some contribution to the score.
It's 11, I think.
It's
11 goal kickers.
11 of them. Half the team that ran out today have done something round the goal face, and we can't say that for the North Melbourne group.
Well, if you allow that to happen with those players and the calibre of those players having those possessions, you will lose the game against Port Adelaide.
41 disposals for Peter Burgoyne. Matt Prittis has the season record of 45 disposals. Tony Shaw had 50 back in 1991.
Gee, where'd you get that from?
Let's
I
hope
told you, I think.
that Peter Burgoyne can find it a little more here in the last 6 and a bit minutes. Maybe he'll get to the half century.
Hey,
I think that was against Geelong.
I remember that game. He kicked half of them to himself.
I did, and I got the old 1-2 going about 20 times.
I remember that.
And you know what? I didn't get 3 votes in the Brownlow. I was dirty on that. David Cloak got him. It must have been Peter Cameron umpiring his brother-in-law.
Laid with the tap, but it was shark by Shannon Grant. He's right on the 50, bringing it back to the goal square. Hale got a big piece of it, couldn't complete the mark though. Cassisi.
Look at the rebound here and the numbers.
Ebert. Now Peter Burgoyne, that's 42. To the run of Robbie Gray. Ebert kept running, can go over the top here. In fact, he's going for Logan.
He should get it nearly in the middle here, Ebert.
He's still running, Ebert, and now will be on it.
That is shocking play by the Kangaroos.
60 metres out, measures the pass. David Roden on the end of it.
Well, we've said there's some indicators of how they've played badly. The Ferrito kicking in the mark, and Liam Pickering said about how they couldn't work it through 50 with Boomer Harvey. That just showed the work rate. No one ran with Ebert from the half-back line, and he received this ball to set up. That is disgraceful defensive work and hard work by North Melbourne.
Roden already with a career best 4 goals today. Nurses this one through as well. That's 5 for Roden.
Well, Tony, just to make your point, I reckon 10 or 15 minutes ago, the Kangaroo players put the cue in the rack. And the Port Adelaide boys are going to put the cue in the rack at the end of the game until next year, so they can run it out. There's nothing to be lost with them. But it's been a dismal performance, I would think, a week leading into the finals.
$18 goals to 6 since quarter time. Port Adelaide, they lead by 70 points. North Melbourne, well, their finals aspirations are looking grim. Port Adelaide, Burgoyne again, 43. Power retreats. Edwards looking for and finding Daniel Harris.
Oh, he just grabbed the back of the leg there. I thought might have not a hamstring, but maybe a cramp.
They've already lost Lee Harding to a knee injury. It could be serious enough for him not to play again this season. Matt Campbell given the hurry up, centering kick. Unloading Daniel Pratt at the back. Big leap from Corey Jones. He's taking away the free kick.
Unrealistic attempt, I don't know. Is that what it's called?
Laid all alone, takes the mark. Ignores the run of Cassisi and Surgeon, and he's been given some advice about that as well.
Well, he's probably been nearly the worst player for Port Adelaide today. Laid, he's been in very good form the last couple of weeks, but he's had it, 10 times, but a lot of them been soft. And I think it's just been a long, long year for Brendan Laid.
The Port Adelaide had a club record 435 disposals last week against Melbourne. They're up to 374 at the moment.
They're going to load Laid up again?
Oh, yeah, I think he's got a year contract. I think he's got one more. And I think he should. Oh, it has been a long year.
There aren't too many Port Adelaide players remaining from their inaugural season in '97. Laid's one of them. Peter Burgoyne. Warren Treadray, who isn't here today.
And it looks like Treadray might sign for a 1-year contract.
Has signed?
Has signed 1 year. I reckon that's right. About this stage of his career.
And the choices with him as he remains captain or not, that's been put on him.
I think I'd move him on. Not as in captaincy. I think they've got to find another leadership group, and I think Sean Burgoyne is the player there, or Kane Corns, but I don't think Kane did say a couple of weeks ago he did want the job, so I think he'd be a perfect captain.
And Dominic Cassisi has also been mentioned in that mix as well, but Sean Burgoyne, the acting captain the past 2 weeks, would be the favourite. That is, if Warren Treadray doesn't take the captaincy. 22,144 is the crowd today. 22,000, not a bad result.
Problem is you don't make money until you get over 30,000, I think, at the MCG. Is that right?
That's right. Got to pay the check
Yeah,
back.
Peter Burgoyne continues to rack up the possessions. 45 now to equal the season high in the AFL. Carlisle. Nice kick, found Damon White. Sean Burgoyne goes back to the goal square. So too Marlon Motlop, shadowed here by Matt Campbell, who did a good defensive job initially, put his body on the line, wins a free kick.
Boys, you talk about Peter Burgoyne. I mean, he's a wonderful player. We know that he's got back into some... This just sums up North Melbourne.
Oh, look at this one, Liam. They just kicked
sums
it
their
out.
day up. But his work rate today, Peter Burgoyne's been outstanding. I've watched him come off the ground, spent 3 or 4 times today on the interchange. To get 45 possessions, an outstanding effort.
Sean Burgoyne, hands over. Going to work, Marlon Motlop. He's coming up with his first goal in the AFL, and it's a memorable one. Oh, the Motlop family, it doesn't restrict it just to Daniel.
It runs in the family. That's unbelievable.
Now, let's have a look at this. Now,
Oh,
Sean Burgoyne, beautiful pick up at ground level. It's gone out wide. Marlon Motlop, I don't know whether he was trying to
Oh,
centre it.
he did watch his eyes. He was, this will be this will show.
He's had a go
Watch
at
him.
this. Oh, just sensational finishing. Well done.
It was worth coming for that. It's been John the Motlop show today. It's been just terrific. Well, it would be worthwhile. Just saying, to come along and see those two blokes when the ball gets in their hand is a terrific experience.
12 different goal kickers from Port Adelaide. Little over 2 minutes left on the clock. Sean Burgoyne, well, he ignored his brother. No, he's going to give it up here to Pearce. He looks for Roden. Kick partially blocked. Putting his body on the line, Urquhart. Now Simpson. Disposal number 20 for him. Harris with problems. Roden dispossessed him, holding the ball.
Gee, there's been a few signs. Daniel Harris on a quick, fast ground. Hamish McIntosh.
Well, struggling with that leg too, Tony. We saw that a few minutes ago. He's really struggling to get along the ground.
Thurstons, they're queuing up here, Port Adelaide. Motlop has 2 to beat. That was Daniel. But 33 of the 36 players are in Port Adelaide's attacking half at the moment. Well, the siren can't come soon enough for North Melbourne. Minute and a half left on the clock. In traffic, Thomas. Brogan best position. Had trouble reeling it in, eventually does. Loney, good tackle from Petrie.
What about Nathan Loney? David, would you continue with Nathan Loney?
I think he's been given a lot of opportunity to become a permanent member of that side, and the way that he plays, I would think that's probably coming to the end of a very good career.
And a 50-metre penalty, don't know what that was for.
But in the wash-up of all this, that the Kangaroos have been a delight to watch because they've been so competitive over some period of time. You'd like to think this is just a one-off performance.
That was against Daniel Motlop, too close. And
at the other end, North Melbourne have squandered it.
Yep.
76-point margin. Who can remember North Melbourne kicking the first 3 goals of the game and leading by 19 points after we'd played just 12 minutes?
Well, they've had, isn't it right, my mathematics are right, they've had their score doubled here today, and for anybody to actually predict that walking into the MCG today, you'd think they should be committed.
Thurston's doing the ruck work. Quick kick out of the congestion as well. Might sit here for Daniel Pratt. Rushes around 1 tackle. And has missed the lot. It's out of bounds.
The other thing about Nathan Loney, I think Port have got a number of similar type players. You know, they've got ball carriers, and now they've got Logan and Surgeon who are a bit tough in and under. So the balance mightn't be right for Nathan Loney to stay there.
Strong body, Sam Power. Roden trying to break a tackle. Peter Burgoyne forced the error. This is Cassisi out for Thurstons.
Look at this, John, now. Look at this, though. The numbers around the ball and the breakaway. Look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Port Adelaide players, 1 Kangaroo.
Damon White with options. Kane Corns. That's all she wrote. Port Adelaide finished their season in style of upset North Melbourne, handing the Kangaroos their biggest defeat of the year, and it's cost North Melbourne a top 4 finish, you would think. Shannon Grant in his 300th game. Not a lot to cheer about, but Port Adelaide 23-10, 148 has defeated North Melbourne 10-12, 72.
Well, Dave, that is a devastating result for the North Melbourne Football Club.
But a great result. I mean, I think they'll bounce back and be obviously a lot better now. But a great result for Port Adelaide. Puts a little bit of questioning about the T word. You know, they have worked exceedingly hard to get this result, Port Adelaide, and it does affect them on terms of the draft.
Well, I think there's a man who's played a great game today, Daniel Motlop, and he's with Liam Pickering in the middle of the ground.
Yes, here with Daniel. Well played today, Daniel. It's a fantastic win. It's sort of come from nowhere for us fans.
Yeah, no, it's good to get a win. You know, we're going into pre-season with a bit of confidence now, and you know what we're doing is right. And hopefully next year, you know, we come out and do the same. So,
what's been the problem this year? I mean, we're looking down. You're sort of third last, or you'll go up to fourth last now. What's been the issues throughout the course of the year? Only 6 or 7 wins.
Yeah, I think you know we lost a lot of close games, and we didn't have enough confidence behind us. You know, we played a lot of hard teams early, and you know, with a bit of confidence, a win in a close game, you know, we can probably get up and win them ones.
Well, tell us about these party tricks we keep seeing. You're doing it with your feet, you're doing it at the other end with your hands. What's going on there, mate?
Oh, it's just a bit of luck, I guess. Everyone does it, I suppose, but...
You're putting it to another level. What about your little cousin, Marlon? He kicked a nice goal at the end too.
Yeah, he's got my boots on, that's why.
Hey, well played, mate. Well done. Go and enjoy. You've got a big break now before your next one.
No worries. Thanks, mate.
Daniel Motlop, former North Melbourne player, spoils the Shannon Grant party here in his 300th game. He departs the MCG. Disappointed. 76-point defeat. Grant finished with 19 disposals and 2 goals too. Nice the Port Adelaide are honouring such a long-serving player as well. More important things in life than winning and losing football matches, though. And
great, well done. Daniel Motlop, who, as you said, played with the Kangaroos or North Melbourne and just went up to Shannon Grant. Fantastic there.
Well, they're doing that better these days. I know that there are some people, Tony, who don't think all this loving stuff is
no, that's all right.
Appropriate time and place. I think it's a wonderful thing. There's a great fraternity amongst all footballers. They move so regularly from one club to another. It is a big family, and I think it's fantastic to see that. He acknowledged he ran over and made sure he got there to let him know.
Port have finished. I don't mind them lining up.
Oh, Port Adelaide, big winners here today by 76 points. They've defeated North Melbourne at the MCG for the first time in the club's 12-year history. Nice way to finish 2008. The last time they were at the MCG before today, Port Adelaide kicked 6 goals and lost the biggest grand final defeat in AFL history. Today they returned and they have come up with an emphatic 76-point win, and they dominated proceedings after quarter time. They put on a show there in the third quarter when they kicked 8 goals, 3. They kicked 7 in the second as well. And it was David Roden with a career-high 5 goals who topped the goal-kicking list. Gray had 3, Daniel Motlop kicked 3, Toby Thurston's up from defence kicked 3, and David Hale with 4 of North Melbourne's 10 goals. Shannon Grant kicked 2. Not only did they lose this match, North Melbourne, but Lee Harding, who kicked the first goal of the game, and it all started well for North Melbourne. They kicked the first 3, but he has a knee injury that may preclude him from playing in the finals, and now we know North Melbourne, well, they are likely to tumble down the ladder.
Well, I think it's going to be very difficult for him. I mean, Harding's been a terrific contributor in the role off half-back that he's done so well, so they would lick their wounds, but I would never underestimate North Melbourne in their capacity to compete and be aggressive. They'll jump back out of this. Now, whether they're capable, John, of going further in the finals, there'd be some doubt in that confidence has been eroded by somebody who wasn't expected has actually doubled their score in this particular game today.
Yes, Port Adelaide finishing in a flurry here, having defeated Melbourne by 76 points. And now a big result today as well. And Daniel Motlop, well, he can turn it on. He is worth the price of admission alone. Only kicked the 3 goals today, but that now is 57 for the season to be the club's leading goal kicker. It's the intangibles that he produces as well. And as we saw, he came up with a miracle goal there in the 3rd quarter when he kicked it on the run from outside the 50. And he can do it all.
Well, he is a magician and he does great things to actually win the ball, but he does greater things when he's got the ball in terms of conjuring up ways to get it through the goal. And I think he is, as you say, one that you'd pay the money for John to come through the gate, because as long as the ball's going into their front half, he's going to conjure up something that's pretty exciting.
And it's a credit to Mark Williams as well, because given the demeanour and the nature of Daniel Motlop, he is a type of player that certain coaches perhaps wouldn't like in their team.
Well, I think one club unloaded him in the sense that they didn't think they were losing something, but give Mark Williams his due. He's got the capacity to get the best out of sort of reject type players, and he's become a critical component in that Port Adelaide team.
David Roden is a name that springs to mind immediately. Suffered a knee reconstruction in 2005. Played 5 games for the Tigers in 2006. They decided he wasn't the player that he was prior to that. But he's played every game for Port Adelaide in the past 2 seasons. Top 6 in their best and fairest last season. He'll be in their top 10 best and fairest again this season. And to finish with 5 goals, the man from Fiji, the Roden runner, as Dwayne Russell likes to call him, he put on a show.
And back to his absolute best. And there's another example of what we're talking about. Port Adelaide have taken him under their wing, and he's a terrific player in and under. He wins his own ball. He's a great carrier because he's got speed and bounce and manoeuvrability, and he's finished off today with a remarkable effort round the goals. I really loved his work today.
Peter Burgoyne, indefatigable today. He was everywhere, had 37 disposals last week, 45 today, which equals the most by a player in the AFL this season. He was very good.
Oh, exceptionally good. And they were ready for him off the back of the exceptional game he played last week. They gave him the best tagger, I think, in the competition in Rawlings, and he doubled his score as well. So he's back to his absolute best at the perfect moment to renew his contract, I would suggest.
And a man who started it all for Port Adelaide was Robbie Gray. In the 1st quarter, he was deep in defence. They moved him into the forward line, and he kicked the last 2 goals of the 1st quarter at the 24 and the 27-minute mark, both from free kicks. And that reduced North Melbourne's 19-point advantage, and it really did open the floodgates for Port Adelaide.
Well, it was interesting because he was one of the matchups we were trying to work out whether they were just playing around and having a bit of fun. But the moment he went forward, as you suggest, halfway through that 1st quarter, the game seemed to turn in favour of Port Adelaide. And he reminds me of an Ebert-type player. He's big, strong, above his head for a bloke of limited height, and he does certainly get the ball through the goals when it counts.
Well, Mark Williams and the Port Adelaide faithful, they'll enjoy this victory. Back-to-back big wins to close out season 2008. So just 7 wins for the year, but as I mentioned during the call, they've lost 7 games by 2 goals or less. So that really could have had them further up the ladder. They take Fremantle's spot now and move to 13th with their 7th win of the year. But it's North Melbourne who were 4th coming into this game. As you can see, Adelaide, St Kilda and even the Sydney Swans can now tackle North Melbourne and force them down to as low as 7th on the ladder, particularly the Crows, who play the Western Bulldogs. That match is coming your way here on Fox Sports, so stick around. And for the first time in known history, all of Adelaide, including the Crows supporters, were cheering for Port Adelaide today, just hoping that they might be able to cause an upset and leave the door ajar for the Crows to grab a top 4 finish.
Oh, yeah, just put a bit of venom into the rest of the weekend, I can assure you. And there's some now who are very hungry. They think that the opportunity has been presented, and they could not have predicted that 2 hours ago.
Well, this great game throws up a lot of different results, but today Geelong and the West Coast Eagles most predicted that this was going to be one-way traffic for the Cats. And after the West Coast Eagles led early in the game, that's how it has transpired so far, the 7-minute mark of the 3rd quarter. and we have 13-10 to 7-3 Geelong looking for their 21st victory of the season. So a lean year for Port Adelaide. North Melbourne still with some work to do, but I guess they can go home happy with what they've achieved in the last 2 weeks, Port Adelaide.
Well, certainly, to give them some confidence. I think you'd be a silly person who wouldn't pick them for a massive meteoric rise up the ladder next year.
Well, Port Adelaide get the job done here against North Melbourne by 76 points. The Crows and the Western Bulldogs coming up next.
It's more than a sport, it's the true Port Adelaide tradition. We'll never stop till we're top. It's history here in the making. We are the power to win. We'll never give in till the flag is ours for the taking.
This has been a Fox Sports production.